ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on today's episode, we got quite a few news stories for you, but they're gonna be smaller ones, but we'll have some good discussions on them, I'm sure. Trailer Talks keeps it rolling. We got a new trailer from Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead. Yeah, Zack Snyder. Wow, I'm very excited. Just kidding. I don't know how I feel about this. I guess we'll find out in Trailer Talk. We'll get the new to streaming. It's the first week of the month. It's kind of a meh lineup, and then we'll do the what we're watching, of course. And our main review for the episode is Your Name, which I'm very excited for, of course.
It is true. It is happening.
But joining me today, before we get to any of that, is this is an old title.
Sure
here,
is, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't update these. We'll go with the humble brag master's degree guy himself, Nathaniel Gingrich.
That's me. I'm good, man. I just wanted to let you know that, even though you didn't ask, but I am good. How are you?
Thank you for asking. I'm sorry I didn't ask. It just kind of slipped my mind.
No, it's fine. I was actually poking fun at myself for just answering that question apropos of nothing. You're like, hey, Nathaniel. I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah, it's just yeah.
But
I hate those weird interactions where it's like you'll say hi to someone or someone says hi to me and then you go like, what's up? And then like if no one responds,
oh
it's like,
yeah, or you're like past them by the time
you
like
pass them.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, what's up?
Have you guys?
And you just pass them.
Has anyone ever fallen into the dreaded? Someone's waving, you wave back, and you realize they're waving at the person behind you.
Shoot me on the spot. Shoot me on the spot. I'd rather die.
Blake, you're like the coolest person I know, and like I'm concerned. I want to know if this is a universal feeling because it's absolutely happened to me. But then I'm nerdy and I fall down a lot. What about like you or Tyler? You're athletic. What happens? Have you ever had it where you wave at someone and then they wave back and then you realize they're waving at the person behind you?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those. I mean, as the older I've gotten, the less embarrassing that is. You know, it's just kind of like, okay, it is what it is.
Yeah, but if you're in middle school, your entire year ends in the moment.
Yeah. I actually I went to Chick-fil-A for breakfast this morning, and I fell victim to the lady gave me my food, and she's like, "Oh, enjoy your food," and I said, "You too."
You too.
And that was just terrible. It was like 7:30 in the morning, and I was like, "I'm such a dickhead."
Who is that sultry voice over there, Adam, telling his Chick-fil-A story?
That is Mr. Water Coolers himself, BlakeHolder. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. How was that Chick-fil-A breakfast, man?
Actually, awesome, dude. Chick-fil-A breakfast is if you haven't had it,
they don't mess around.
I would pick Chick-fil-A breakfast over going there for a lunch.
Chick-fil-A never really messes around.
But see, this has the undercurrent though that Blake is a very, very picky eater.
Very true.
So you don't like a lot of things on your stuff. So what do you get when you go to your Chick-fil-A breakfast?
Spicy chicken biscuit, man.
Okay.
And to your point, nothing comes on it anyway, so I'm already sold. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say,
get some honey.
I do the bacon. No, not bacon. The chicken cheese bagel. That's the bottom one.
I've
on
had
that
before though.
It's
the chicken, egg, and cheese.
Yes, chicken, egg, and cheese. But it is like it's like a meal. Like I don't eat lunch on those days. But it's good.
Interesting. I like never eat breakfast, so
yeah, I very rarely do as well.
That sounds very unhealthy.
It's actually not.
Yeah, I mean it's really not that big of a deal.
Are you a coffee guy?
Yeah, I love coffee.
Okay. Are you
love coffee?
Like every day.
No, I've just never been a big breakfast person.
My Keurig is in the background right there. Frequent use.
I can see that.
So then, are you guys iced coffee guys then? Tyler and Adam?
It depends on how I'm feeling that day.
Yeah, same. I also tend to do iced coffee in the summers and then hot coffee in like the winters.
Facts.
Yeah,
I don't drink
coffee.
But
if I need to, I'll just drink it black. Like I'll go straight up.
Yeah, I've never been a coffee guy. I tried to in college once, and I got food poisoning that night. And so after that, the smell of coffee for like a week straight, I was like, "Oh, I'm sick to my stomach now," and that cured me of ever wanting to get coffee.
Hilarious.
Well, that funny guy over there is the future face of Twitch, Tyler Vidalis.
Hey, what's going on? That's me. Not really though.
That is true. I do love tea.
Tea. Oh, I got. You can't see it there, but I got a whole slew of tea that I use with the Keurig as well.
There you go.
Just do the hot water, toss in the tea bag. Got some sleepy time tea. Drink that at night. right to sleep, man.
Yeah, Tyler, you had a big stream the other day.
Yeah, we tested out some things. We did some stuff. It was Nathaniel and I. It was great.
So
That's
if you,
good, man.
if you checked
It was
in
like
for
2
that,
hours long or something like that. I think.
Yeah.
Actually, it
Oh,
might have been more.
shit.
It was like 3.
2 guys, 1 stream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Any
what we ended
dubs?
up calling it. No, unfortunately not.
Damn, you hate to see
It was a rough day, actually.
Yeah, it was. It was right when the battle pass came out, so everybody was being like super sweaty, and I wanted to just kill
Gotcha.
myself.
First 3
I've
days
heard-
after the new battle pass were unlike anything I've experienced playing Call of Duty in my lifetime. Like, it was just demon spawns, every single one of them.
Dude, that's how it. Obviously, you guys know I played Rainbow Six Siege, and me and Adam actually almost played this week again.
Yeah.
Some things got tied up, but yeah, that's how that is. When there's a new season comes out, it's like, oh my god, dude! If you're playing that the first 3-4 days,
The worst.
And it's also with Rainbow, it's like everybody wants to use that new operator immediately, so you
Yeah.
see her every round, hear him or her every round.
The video game culture is just cancerous.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it can be. Oh, it can be.
It's
for sure.
insane how bad it is. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into the episode here, guys. We got about 6 news stories for you, but each of them are kind of quick. So we'll start with New York City movie theaters to reopen in early March. So Governor Anthony Cuomo has decided that the first week of March or so, the movie theaters can start opening back up, which is huge for Hollywood because that's their second biggest box office in the U.S. for sure.
Was it
So,
behind LA?
yeah,
Mhm.
besides LA, I believe. Yeah. So things are looking up, at least as far as movie theaters go.
Shout out New York, man.
Jelly.
Good for them. I'm happy that they're
Yeah,
getting their theaters back, and I mean,
Yeah.
we kind of got ours right now.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't it open up a little bit at least?
Yeah. I've been able to go a couple times now, fully socially distanced and with a mask and everything.
Nice.
I'm only being jealous. That's all.
But yeah, it was really cool.
Nice. Yeah, because New York City, we've been covering every once in a while where the status of movie theaters are, or just in the U.S. And New York City really hasn't opened them at all since the beginning of the pandemic. This is kind of the first time.
Yeah, well, they've had a lot going on.
Yeah.
They have had a lot
Big
going
city,
on,
a lot
for
of
sure.
people,
Oh yeah.
a lot of COVID.
A lot of COVID.
Well, next up here on our news docket is The Great Gatsby animated feature in development. So this is going to be another
I feel like
kind of series.
I'm gonna get. Sorry, Adam. Before we even get started on this, but I'm gonna get us another sound, a soundboard that's just gonna be a "Who's asking for this?" And then every week when we come across one of these, I'm gonna hit it and it's gonna say that.
Didn't somebody just say they were doing a series with Great Gatsby?
Yeah,
think
we
so.
we reported a
What,
few weeks
like,
ago.
is
how there's
everybody
gonna
just
be
like, is
a-
somebody just like
Yeah.
giving like selling all their license to things?
Well,
and just like
Gatsby's public domain. That's why you have
Yeah.
both of them at the same time. Go ahead and continue.
terrible. Sorry.
Adam. We're
Yeah,
just
so we-
jumping in. We're
we
too
were-
excited.
Yeah.
Very good. We reported a few weeks ago how there was a new Gatsby series that was kind of very early in development, and so this is just kind of weird news to follow up with that. This is going to be just an animated feature. This is the guy. It's from the VFX house DNEG or DNEG,
Okay.
who I guess did Tenet, or helped with Tenet.
Okay.
And then it's going to be written by Brian Selznick, who wrote and illustrated The Invention of Hugo Cabret, which is the book based on, or the book that the movie Hugo is based on, Scorsese's
Right.
Hugo from 2011. And then it's going to be helmed overall by William Joyce, who's part of the VFX house at DNEG.
Did
So
Hugo?
what we know so far is it's gonna be loud as fuck.
Well, VFX is visual effects, but yeah, there's a good chance it's.
If you have
it's
anybody
pretty-
that was involved in Tenet, it's gonna be a loud fucking movie.
Okay,
Or
that's how
show.
how that
Yeah,
goes.
yep.
Everyone on that movie's deaf now. Adam, you said something about Hugo in there, and I wanted to ask you: Did that have a profound effect on you as a child? Like, I can imagine you watching that movie and that giving you your first kind of like, I love cinema moments, or did I make this up in my head?
So I've read the book. To be honest, I don't
Really?
know if I've seen the movie.
Interesting.
I think I have, but I don't know for sure because I remember watching at least pieces of it, but I don't know if I've seen it all the way through, and because it came out a while ago, I just don't remember if I ever saw it.
For sure.
But I have read the book.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I mean, Great Gatsby animated movie. Sure, let's go for it. Why
I'm
not?
fine. I'm fine with it, honestly. I
Whatever.
mean,
Well,
'cause
yeah.
the series that they said they were doing, or that's in the works, kind of felt pretty different from the source material.
Gotcha.
And they were trying to change things up, and I was, I'm interested to see where that goes. But in regards to this, I mean, it seems like it's going to be kind of a direct adaptation. And Great Gatsby is my favorite book. So,
I was gonna say
I'm
you
actually
really
kinda
like the
excited
book,
for this.
right?
I do. I really
All
like
right,
it.
I retract my who's asking for this.
Oh,
But
I mean,
also, who's
it's
asking
not
for
like I was
this?
out there clamoring for an animated feature of it. You're right, but it kind of came out of nowhere again. But
Yeah.
I'll
Give it a
still
shot.
probably check it out.
Run it.
Exactly.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? All right, for our next news story, the next Spider-Man movie is called No Way Home. This follows this is an
Yes.
official confirmation of the title following a week of 3 different movie titles being leaked. Not leaked, but like kind of given out from the cast members. There was Spider-Man Phone Home, Spider-Man Home Slice, and then Spider-Man Home Wrecker. And then everybody was like, which one it is? And then it's kind of like, it's a multiverse thing. They're kind of playing into it. But the official title was confirmed: Spider-Man No Way Home.
Do you guys
Thoughts?
like all the plays they're having on Home for this Spider-Man trilogy, or did you guys?
Well, we had Homecoming and then Far From Home,
Yeah.
and now I've already forgotten it.
So-
No
so
Way
have
Home.
I, yeah.
No Way Home.
Yeah.
Cool with it. These have been
Um,
pretty great so far. So I'm all right.
Yeah, I'm overall like this has probably been my kind of favorite Spidey so far. I would say. I mean the like we kind of always talk about, the Raimi ones are those like first ones that you and I and almost all of us I think ever came across.
Oh, me too.
So
yeah,
they're
yeah,
like
yeah.
DNA
sure.
ones. The Garfield ones I wasn't super jazzed about. I know Tyler, you do
I'm,
like them.
I'm a big fan.
Yeah. I really like this incarnation, and I'm really excited for this trilogy. I am terrified of this movie right now because it really just all of
got
the
a lot
alarm
going on.
bells
Yeah.
are just going off all the
Yeah.
time. But I'm trying to trust Marvel with this. I don't actually want to lose this Spider-Man in the MCU, and it really feels like we may be going towards that. But what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be horrible if we lost him in the MCU. That'd be really, really
Dude,
bad.
I haven't even seen Far From Home in one sitting. I've seen
You've
the movie.
just seen it in
Yeah.
different cuts at work.
Yep, at work. I've seen some of it at home, like if my dad's watching it or
Yeah.
something.
It's a good
I've
one.
never
Pretty
seen it
good.
once.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You should check it out.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth it.
It's got Jake
I
Gyllenhaal,
like
too.
it a lot.
One of my favorite actors.
A criticism I've seen of all these titles is, Spider-Man is definitely a superhero that's centered around New York and is very a part of that, like in the comics and stuff, and even
Sure.
in the movies. And the first one takes place in New York, but it doesn't really feel like a New York movie because it's kind of almost some of it's in the suburbs a little bit, and
Yeah.
and so it didn't really have that New York feel, like he was truly just defending New York. And then Far From Home just straight up didn't take place in New York. So
Sure.
it's just
Isn't
kind of
it
ironic
Europe
that
or
they keep
something?
going with these home taglines when in reality he hasn't really defended his home of New York City that in the comics and in previous movies he's been so attached to.
Yeah. Where does the second one take place? Is that Europe?
Yes.
That's
London.
what I thought. Okay.
Actually, it's just around Europe. Never
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
It's just around Europe.
The climax
I think
is in London.
the climax is in London. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Alright.
that's an interesting kind of take, I guess, to go on it there. For me, it's not that big a deal, particularly because like you have all 3 of the Raimi trilogy definitely set in New York and definitively set in New
Sure.
York. Even the Garfield ones I think are as well. For me, it was kind of fun that we got Spider-Man in the suburbs and we got Spider-Man in other areas of the world. So, I'm not too. I kind of that doesn't mean.
I'm not
Yeah, it's
striking these movies down or anything.
No.
just because
It's
they
just
aren't
not
doing
not a criticism that I would be privy to because I kind of believe the opposite. So,
anything. Oh, all right. All
what's
right.
next on the
Well,
docket?
What'd you say?
So, what's next on the docket? The rocket
On the
docket.
docket, we got A Quiet Place Part 2 and Mission Impossible 7 to debut on Paramount Plus 45 days after theatrical launch. So Paramount Plus will be launching on March 4th. It's going to be Paramount's new streaming service because we really needed some more of those. And it turns out that a few of their feature films are going to be coming to the streaming service directly 45 days after their initial theatrical release, similar to how HBO is kind of doing it, but also not similar.
Also,
So
not
you'll
as
be able
good.
to yeah. And so right now, Mission Impossible 7 and then A Quiet Place Part 2 are both confirmed to have that debut on Paramount Plus, as well as Paw Patrol the movie, in case you guys were looking forward to that. I think James Bond, No Time to Die, some MGM movies as well are going to be included in that because of the relationship that Paramount has with them. So interesting. More straight to streaming kind of stuff.
I don't know that that's actually that significant. 45 days is about a month and a half, right?
Yeah.
There has definitely been times within the last year or so, or the last 2 years, I would say, where something has come out in theaters and released on a streaming service within 45 days of it being on there.
Mm-hmm.
Like this reads to me almost like that was going to happen anyways, and now they're just putting it out there as news to kind of like try and drum up buzz for Paramount Plus.
So let me ask you this then: do you like this avenue better than what HBO Max is doing, or for any of you guys?
I mean, I think moving in the future, moving forward, this we'll see. Like this would be probably how movie theaters would be post-pandemic. You know, I wouldn't be shocked if most things go into movie theaters for a pretty short amount of time and then come out almost directly onto streaming services.
Or at the same time, and just give people the choice, and then just charge a fuck ton of money to watch it at home. You know?
Yeah, I just think that I would get afraid that would just kill the theaters because, as we say, they don't make money off their movies. They make money off the concessions and everything like that. I think, I almost think, too, eventually you're going to get some sort of, like, hybrid model, or even, like, going to the theater is just going to be what going to, like, the theater or a play is now today. It'll be, like, more of kind of a higher-end expensive experience, but it'll be, you know, once a month or once every 6 months rather than that kind of thing, too. But, the Paramount Plus thing I thought was a really interesting announcement in general. I know we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit more. I don't particularly see it working that well for them.
I don't either. I was really shocked when I saw that announcement.
And the issue almost seems to be, unlike Disney, Disney always kept everything Disney under the Disney brand. So when you thought Disney, you knew Disney. And Universal, to some extent, you have kind of that a little bit. But if you go, hey, man, what's a Paramount movie? No one on this earth knows. I couldn't tell you, and I studied film for a long time, but like it's just not a thing that you immediately brand with them. And so like even with Apple TV Plus, you know, all these stuff is like, there are shows that maybe I want to see or anything, but they have no idea where they're all collectively kept.
So in case anybody's wondering, the Paramount Plus is going to cost $5 a month for an ad-based service, and then $10 for the premium ad-free service. So not terrible pricing, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know if I really need to be paying more money. Even if I just do the ad one, I'm not looking to spend $5 more a month.
It just feels like we're going back into the days of encouraging piracy here. We're out of the we're out of the Goldilocks period for streaming services, and we're back into the days of pirates.
Hey Adam, do you know what LimeWire is?
No.
Oh wow!
I figured he wouldn't, and I just kind of wanted to see if we can date ourselves.
Yeah, that
valid question.
Every time one of those comes, it hits me in the head like a ton of bricks, though.
Is that a pirating service?
It was the pirating
from
MP3 place for a while, but the problem was you had no idea what you were getting. There was zero quality control overall, so you could be getting the newest Eminem track, or you may be getting a random recording of Bill Clinton denying having sex with a woman, and then a lot of times it was just porn. It was just
an interesting site, but that was your
lawless.
Apparently, I can still download it. I'm scared to click on that link.
I would not recommend that.
I don't think you want to.
No, you'll put a bunch of viruses. Fucking could be.
I'm probably not.
That thing's killed a lot of like computer rooms.
Oh
moms,
man,
computers and shit like that, dude. Yeah.
And then there was FrostWire, which was the Mac version.
I remember that too. Yeah. But I figured Adam wouldn't know any of that, man. I think he kind of came in definitely into where the iPods were already out.
Right. Well, it just
and you could stream,
I do remember when I was probably around 9 years old, my brother had an iPod and we watched a movie on it. We watched Jumper, and it was like so cool that we could watch a movie on this 2-inch by 1-inch screen.
Yep. My
This
best
is with,
friend
like one earbud in.
had an iPod Nano. And the only movie he had on it was Superbad. So anytime
Ooh.
Superbad and Zack and Miri make a porno. And you had the two
Those are some iPod movies.
those
for
are the
sure.
two
Yeah.
choices, man. And you had to watch those.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any movies on your phone?
No.
do
Actually, I guess
not.
I can't say that because I think I bought Your Name on Apple TV.
Oh,
and so I
wow.
guess I have it on my phone now.
I guess I have them on Voodoo. I have Voodoo on my phone.
Sure.
Yeah,
So,
but no, I don't
yeah.
generally keep one locked and loaded.
Yeah.
no. If I did, Superbad would be one of them though. That's a
Yeah.
a good film for something.
It's
like
an
that.
excellent
Yeah.
choice.
Jumper would not be one of them.
No.
I have a. I bet you never would have guessed. The
Lord-
Fellowship of the Ring.
Lord of the Rings. I think one
Also,
of my
also the Great Gatsby.
I think one of my phones had like
Ah.
Transformers 3 on it or something like that at one point because
Sure.
it was just like a free download that I just had at some point.
I just have them on there because we have our cabin down in Southern Illinois,
Mm.
and sometimes we don't have internet down there. But the only way we have internet is if we have like a hotspot, which my family does and my aunt and uncle do. So usually you can have some kind of internet access if you didn't want to be on like
For
your data usage or whatever it is. So usually I just have those movies. So if
I
in
do
case
that-
I go off grid,
I do that,
Yeah.
but I do that with audiobooks.
yeah, for sure.
I just checked my Apple library. I have Your Name, the dub version, and The Strangers because The Strangers to buy was like $5 and The Strangers to rent was like $4. So when we watched it for the pod, I was just like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna buy it."
Watch
Just
that
so
at the
everyone
cabin.
watch it again.
That'll be a good time.
There you go.
It probably would.
I'd be terrified.
Really eerie.
I love
but
it.
that puts you in the right.
I'd
setting,
watch it
for
like
sure.
out on the hammock, like 70 degrees with a blanket.
like outside.
Yeah.
I'm a horror guy. I don't even know if I could do. I probably could. I
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
could.
Fuck no, I'm
I
not
probably
doing
would
that.
just for the scene, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I'd be
it'd hell, though,
convinced.
for sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, what content and what original content coming to Paramount Plus is TBD, but for Disney Plus's featured content, we got a release date for Loki, the TV series that's going to be coming out later this year. It's going to be set for a June 11th release.
Which is very soon after Falcon and the Winter Soldier ends, correct?
Yep, which is very soon after WandaVision. So Falcon and the Winter Soldier will be starting on March 19th. Basically, was there a 1 week buffer between
Yeah, there's a
WandaVision
1 week
and
gap.
Winter Soldier? Yeah, and then that will, I guess, carry us right into Loki almost.
I'm not mad at it.
And supposedly, I think
Not mad at all.
there's a rumor floating around that like in that 1 week gap we get a making of WandaVision. Like
That's not a rumor. That's confirmed. That's
Okay,
going to
yeah.
be coming out the week after. Yeah, which I actually will probably check out because I
Yeah.
would love to see how this was made because it's got such good movie like quality and a TV show. So
For
probably check
sure.
that out. Yeah. All right, and for our last news story of the day, a rather exciting one, and one that hits home for this pod because it's one of the first news stories that we kind of reported on, either in episode 0 or episode 1.
Well,
But
this
Avatar:
is
The Last Airbender expanded universe set at Nickelodeon. So Nickelodeon is reviving Avatar: The Last Airbender with the original creators, Michael DiMartino and Brian Konietzko. And so they're going to be heading the projects to expand the Last Airbender universe.
and if I'm not mistaken, this is actually also going to be on Paramount Plus.
I have no confirmation on that, but it would not be shocked.
Yeah, I think
Yes,
that,
it will be.
That
Yes,
was
it will
part of
be.
it. Yeah, that was part of the big thing. So this is some of that content
Yep.
we were referencing earlier. It has been deed. It was TBD'd, but now it has been deed.
It has been deed. Consider yourself deed, Paramount Plus.
Whoa.
Okay, so here's my thing. Like, yes, but also, I want new things. I don't just want new things only in the Avatar universe and new things only in the Star Wars universe and new things only in the Marvel universe and new things only in the Lord of the Rings universe at Amazon Prime.
You want new IPs.
I would love new IPs, and I would love them to be actual, like, movies too, not
Mhm.
adaptations, not the newest. We've bought all of the works of Mark Millar, and so Netflix is creating another superhero show. Like, just please make new stuff. We can have this stuff too, but just make new stuff too.
Right,
Make,
new
use
ideas,
all of the
everything.
money
Yeah.
that you take
Yeah.
from this and make
agree.
new stuff, please.
I think the studios are just playing it safe.
No, they are. And it's like I said earlier, if you can build a brand and then that brings in a certain amount of audience and then you can house that under your brand, like you are creating these megalithic little economies in their own. And then, you own so much more of the market in general. It's not shocking. It's economics, but it scares the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, at the
though.
same time, I'm really excited for more Avatar stuff. So
Me too.
Yeah, 100%.
I actually haven't finished Korra. I'm still in the middle of season 2, I think. I should probably get back to that.
You
at some
should.
point.
Yeah, season 2 is definitely the weakest season, if I remember correctly. And then it gets real good after that.
Gotcha.
And Korra's arguably.
Actually, no. You know what? It's
better
season
than
3. I'm on season
Avatar.
3.
Oh,
I
good.
finished season 2, I believe. Yeah. Thinking back on where I was at with that. I should also probably clarify. We also talked about at some point in the pod how there's a live action Avatar adaptation coming to Netflix. That's still coming, according to the story. The creators that I mentioned, DiMartino and Konietzko, they were attached to the project and then left because they didn't feel like the story was going or the adaptation was going the way
I was
they
gonna say
wanted.
there was creative differences. I think
Yeah.
is what they
Creative
used.
differences.
Apparently,
Or-
one of the big rumors coming out of the Netflix camp is they are switching the ages of Katara
Yeah.
and
Got it.
I saw that as well.
Aang?
brother. No, her brother.
Oh.
Why is it? It's,
Sokka?
Yes, her and Sokka. So
Yeah.
now
I think something I saw was like, what's her fate? What's the girl's name? I forgot.
Katara.
What was that? You cut out.
Katara?
Katara. Yeah, thank you. She's supposed to be like 16, and then Sokka's supposed to
Yeah.
be 14, and then
Aang's
Aang's
12.
supposed to be like 12. Yeah. Which isn't like a massive jump, but
Yeah.
still definitely different than the originals. And it would
If you
probably
just
change
know
the
where that
dynamic.
storyline goes, it's a little bit
Yeah,
weirder.
exactly. It's a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, it changes a lot.
Some of the
stuff.
some of the Twitter kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Rationale. Reaction, I guess, rationale or whatever they're thinking is maybe
Oh,
they're
sure.
trying to set up more of a dynamic between Katara and Zuko.
Sure.
And having Aang as kind of like that love triangle, which works a little bit better if she's the older one, but who knows? That could be just speculation.
Yeah.
That's the word I was looking for. Speculation.
What's
Um,
the name of that that beast they ride?
Appa.
Appa.
He's
Appa's
a flying
bro.
bison.
I thought
Love
it was a
Appa.
bison, but
He's
I
got
didn't
6
wanna-
legs and a big ass tail.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's dope. And
He's
Momo.
really
this
cool.
species. Him.
People
Momo's
forget
cool too.
Momo.
Justice
Don't
for
forget
Momo.
Toph. Toph's a badass, man.
Toph's all right.
I think all the
Top
animals in that
underrated.
universe are cool.
That's
Naga.
true.
Naga's dope.
Naga's awesome.
She's half like polar bear and half like,
dog.
yeah, but it's like a golden retriever.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah.
lab.
So cool.
Mhm.
Anyways, we got lots to talk about.
We really
folks.
do. We gotta.
Yeah, let's
Read
move
up.
on. That's gonna be it for the news this week. Like I said, a lot of news stories, but kind of some quick combos happening. Let's move on to trailer talk. We keep it rolling with trailer talk, guys. I think this is like 4 out of the last 5 weeks or something like that we've had some trailer talk. So
Hooray!
we're gonna be covering Army of the Dead trailer from Zack Snyder, which is gonna be
Zack
Zack Snyder's
Snyder.
Netflix exclusive film coming out May 21st.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so this was announced prior to, obviously, the Snyder Cut coming to HBO Max. This was kind of Snyder's next thing after Justice League the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's weird that it's actually coming out after, obviously, the Snyder Cut comes out now, which he's done reshoots for more recently.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get a lot from this trailer, in my opinion. It's
No,
a
so-
lot
You
of
really don't.
just
Yeah, you
people.
really don't.
Right. So I watch it. You get to see kind of the star-studded cast. Is this and maybe I just don't even know enough about this in general, but this is a remake or a reboot?
It's not though.
No?
It's an
I feel like
original.
It's original.
It's an original story. I mean, obviously he's kind of famous for doing the reboot of Dawn of the Dead, which is still
Okay.
arguably his best film,
Okay.
in my opinion. But in
Over Watchmen.
yeah.
Okay. I haven't
Um,
seen it, so I can't
Until a
attest
couple
for it. But I
weeks
just
from
know
now.
Watchmen is regarded as one of his.
I
better
wouldn't
ones.
have known Snyder did Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah, he did. Which is like I said, I think it's his best movie. Watchmen is good as a movie, but if you've read the comic book and then watched the HBO series,
Yeah, they say the show is phenomenal. My dad loves that show.
like that whole thing together as one thing is just so much better than.
I'm surprised
movie.
I haven't watched it yet because I'm a big fan of the movie.
You need to read the comic though.
Yeah. Oh, the graphic novel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been there, done that.
Good.
Got the T-shirt.
But yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Where were we going with this? Yeah. So I'm like. Zach, why couldn't you have just made? I mean, it's called Army of the Dead, but like, just make like a gung ho, down and dirty, gritty Army of the Dead movie. I don't need it to look cool. I just
think
want it
this
to
looks
look
like ass.
awesome.
I can't wait for this
Like
thing to flop.
this is like he doesn't seem to understand that the way that action look cool, the way you make action look cool is by doing interesting things with the camera and on screen, not just photographing the coolest thing you can think of, because that's just photography.
Like the helicopter falling off the side of the building.
Yeah, like just like.
Yeah, I was watching this trailer and I was like, I don't even know what I'm signing up for. But
Right.
I like the cast, and that's it.
But he used to know.
Yeah.
He used to know.
Maybe.
I mean,
Anything could be good, right?
What's the release date on this thing?
Yeah, but almost anything can be really bad too.
True.
May 21st.
But it's on Netflix, so I'll probably give it a
Netflix,
watch.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, maybe we'll do
You
this.
almost
with,
owe it to
maybe we'll do
yourself
this on
at that
pod
point.
as like a little trash.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, is it going to be better than Project Power? It very much could be.
No
like,
way.
Yeah, we got to flesh out the bottom of the list with something.
and yeah, is it going to be better than what's the other one we watched? The Charlize Theron, Old Guard. It
Old
very
Guard?
well could
Oh.
be.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
We will see. All right. Let's move on here to the new to streaming for the week of January 28th through March 6th of 2021. To Netflix, you got Batman Begins,
Not bad.
I Am Legend, Invictus, Lego Marvel's Spider-Man, Vexed by Venom, which I did not know they made a Lego Spider-Man movie.
That actually sounds really interesting.
I'm a big fan of Lego movies, so I'm all in.
Yeah, I've seen a handful.
I wonder if it's going to be like the Lego, like the game style, because you know how they do those like little things, or if it's going to be an actual Lego movie. Because
I don't know
Yeah.
which it is.
I have a feeling it's probably gonna be like a Lego movie.
I don't think so. I think if
Like
it would
Lego
be,
Batman?
it would be Lego Batman. Yeah, so it would be Lego Spider-Man. But
Yeah.
it's Lego Marvel Spider-Man. I don't know, man. We'll see.
I figured I just tossed it on there. The Pursuit of Happiness. I'm sorry, I skipped over The Dark Knight as well.
Oh, yeah, how could we skip
So
that?
both Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, and then Training Day, one that we talked
Ooh.
about a few weeks ago.
I'm going to watch Training
Yeah,
Day.
that's
I haven't seen Training Day.
Yeah,
Training is
did
good.
say that.
Yeah, I want to watch
I've
that with
not.
you.
Yeah,
I'll
that's
definitely,
good.
I'll definitely sit down and watch that with
We'll
you.
get
That's a good movie.
a younger Denzel on that one.
Yeah.
I love young
Um,
Denzel.
What's the other guy?
Ethan Hawke.
That is Ethan Hawke.
Love Ethan Hawke, too.
I'm getting better with names. I was never a guy that was good with names for
Mm-hmm.
actors. I've always been terrible. Like when Justin Foley and all those guys used to like talk about like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that one actor, and they'd be like, oh yeah, I'd be like, you guys are idiots. I have no idea what the
Yeah,
fuck you're
I'm not
talking
the greatest
about.
with names. I'm
It's,
better at recalling dates.
It's mind meld. It's rubbing off on you.
We're on the same cycle.
Always.
All right, coming to Amazon Prime. You got American Psycho, Arrival, which held the number one spot on the list for quite a few weeks.
Great friend of the pod.
Yeah, great endorsement, film of the pod, friend of the pod, whatever you want to say there. Then you got Back to the Future's parts 1 through 3. All 3 coming into
I haven't
Amazon.
seen all of 2, and I haven't seen 3. Maybe I'll do those.
You
Are you
should.
serious?
Yeah.
One's
I don't-
awesome. 2, I think, is sometimes better.
Yeah.
Two,
And
two,
3's
yeah,
a
2 is-
clusterfuck. But it's, I mean, at that point, you got to watch it.
Yeah.
you gotta watch
I
it.
don't
You
think
gotta watch
I've
it.
seen. I don't even think I've seen the first one in its entirety.
Oh, really?
Wow.
One is like Jaws almost in that it's just so perfectly succinct in everything it does. It is so good. 2 has just way cooler concepts to me as far as like they go to the future and that's just more. It is just kind of more fun movie,
Yeah.
but it's not structurally or filmically as good as the first one. And then 3, like Tyler said, is kind of just, it is what it is.
All right.
No,
fair
I said clusterfuck.
Okay, sure.
Adam,
Also coming to Amazon Prime.
big
What'd you
fan.
say?
There's a fucking time traveling train.
that sounds
Hey, man.
awesome. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
You'll see. You'll see.
Also coming to Amazon Prime, E.T. the Extraterrestrial, which I've not seen in a very long time. Like since I was a
Classic.
kid. Like if I watched it right now, I'd be like, I'm watching it for the first time.
I'll be right here.
Tyler and I just tried to Adam and God that, like Sistine Chapel style.
Also coming is Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Fun.
I'm not even sure what that is.
You should watch it.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that it's got to be a comedy.
Yeah, it's like an old school
With John Hughes.
kind of like 80s, 70s
Yeah, it's
like
John Hughes-esque,
like,
if it's not John Hughes himself.
Director's Amy
basically
Heckerling.
like about like high school around that time and like bullies and shit. And,
Okay, for sure.
but everything's like also just wrapped around like how involved that time period was with like pot.
Yeah.
It's where the
So, yeah, it's a good time.
Mhm.
Yeah. Are you thinking of Dazed and Confused?
Oh, maybe I am.
What you're describing sounds like something I've seen before.
Yeah.
Maybe I am.
Yeah, Fast Times at Ridgemont High is the
Sorry, they're very similar
yes, they are.
in
time frame.
Yeah, in almost a lot of aspects.
Yes. Fast Times at Ridgemont High is the one with Sean Penn where
Yeah.
It's Wednesday, my dudes, is
Yeah.
actually from.
Yeah.
The IMDb summary of Fast Times is a group of Southern California high school students are enjoying their most important subjects: sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Yeah.
But that sounds awfully familiar to me.
That's
I've
probably
seen one of those movies.
That's probably the
I've
same
definitely
exact
seen
plot
it in
summary for
college.
Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
Pretty close. Yeah. The Dazed and Confused is Linklater, I'm pretty sure.
Dazed and Confused is under the more like this page of
yeah,
it's
Fast
the first
Times.
one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, on IMDb.
I'm gonna see which one. of these
Dazed and
I've
Confused
seen.
summary is the adventures of high school and junior high students on the last day of school in May 1976.
Yes, that's a movie I've seen because it has Matthew McConaughey.
Right,
Sex,
all right.
drugs, and rock and roll.
All right.
Yeah, Fast Times is good though. It's a good
It's
movie.
very similar to this. Same time period. type
Yeah,
thing.
it
Okay.
takes place over a year and has more to do with their like life, but yeah, it's a good movie.
For sure.
It's got the famous what like everyone's dad knows it for is it's got Phoebe Cates taking her top off as she comes out of the
Yeah.
pool.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the famous scene out of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what we're talking about, Papa Schwartz.
Yeah, Papa Schwartz definitely does. And Ryan Foley. Foley, you know what we're talking
Foley, you
about too.
definitely know.
All right. Also coming to Amazon Prime is Godzilla from 2000.
As in
Do you know
Godzilla
that one?
2000.
Is it Godzilla 2000 or is it? I don't.
No,
I couldn't tell
I
if it was
think that's
Godzilla
just the
2000 or
Godzilla film
like
that's from
2000 a
2000.
year.
That movie's really bad.
Is that the?
Isn't Godzilla 2000 the one where it has like red spikes instead of the blue spikes? God, we're all frantically
Yeah,
searching
we're
it
all,
on our phone.
Everybody's on the. We're on the.
Oh man,
the
this does
webs.
look horrible.
Godzilla 2000s from 1999.
Yeah, it is.
And it's
Okay.
awesome.
Okay.
I can remember like coming home from Blockbuster with this VHS and like putting it in the old Zenith and just enjoying my entire. Like, he looks like a cat in this
True
one.
or
does.
false? Adam Schwartz remembers Blockbusters and going to Blockbusters.
You have to. You were not that old or that young, right? I mean, you were born when this movie came out.
I don't think he remembers.
When did they last
Psych,
close? 2010.
That
I don't know, but
I
they
don't
took
actually. I
on
don't remember how
all
I
my
phrased the
debt.
question, but I have been in a Blockbuster,
All right, fair enough.
and I do remember going as a kid to go rent movies and stuff.
Dude, Justin and I used to scavenge for
Oh man,
quarters, dollars, anything we could find in the couch
talk about
around the house.
best day of my week.
Just so my dad could come home on like a Friday after work.
Yep.
And I'd be like, don't even get out of the fucking car. We're going to rent a video game. Or a movie or, something like that. Typically, it was a movie and then a video game. That was like the end. We had to watch a movie with dad so then we could fight over video games.
For sure. Yeah.
All right. Also coming to Amazon Prime is Patriots Day 2017, which that movie has come up on new to streaming more than any other movie. That's like the
No one
fourth
wants
time
it.
that movie's- Rules of Engagement and The Hurt Locker all coming to Amazon Prime. I think that might be the best Amazon Prime list we've had so far. Amazon Prime doesn't usually kill it, but this week I think they have the best list of the bunch. Coming to Hulu, we got The Descent, a Back Row Banter favorite. The Social Network, and Wedding Crashers.
Those are 3 heaters right there.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the Social Network.
I haven't seen the Social Network in
Yeah.
a while.
Social Network's
Social
pretty high
solid.
up there for
It's
me.
really good. It's really good. Coming to HBO Max, we got Blade.
Ooh,
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blake owns a copy of
Tyler's-
Blade.
That was mine.
Tyler.
Oh, no,
does.
Tyler owns a
Yeah.
copy of
Yeah.
I
Blade.
got the
Mine.
Invisible Man.
That's right.
Charlotte's
Shout out to
Web,
Santa.
Driving Miss Daisy, The King's Speech, Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12, and Ocean's 13. Parental Guidance, which is a Schwartz family favorite. Have you guys seen Parental Guidance?
I have
I
not.
don't think I have. No.
I feel
Yeah,
like
I figured you guys probably haven't. It's a 2012 comedy with Billy Crystal, and I forgot who the other person is, but she's pretty famous too.
I do remember
but it-
this movie. It's Bette Midler.
Bette Midler, that's it. That's what it is. But it is actually really funny. I remember watching this quite a few times with my family because every time we were all just laughing. I don't know why, but it's actually a pretty good movie. So maybe check that out if you guys are looking for a comedy to get into. We also got Pitch Perfect coming to HBO Max. Also got Wedding Crashers, and then Rocky 2, 3, 4, 5, and Rocky Balboa from 2006.
Have you seen Rocky?
No.
You hesitated. You kind of sound like you didn't want to say that.
I really didn't. That's when I was very nervous about revealing that truth. There, is I have not really seen. I've seen bits and pieces, of course, like most things, but I don't think I've sat down and watched Rocky all the way through.
It's an excellent movie.
I'm
Would
aware.
recommend.
I'm aware. It's one I'll get around to, I'm sure, eventually. And then Disney Plus, you got the Marvel's WandaVision season finale, which I'm very excited for. And then you also got Raya and the Last Dragon premiere access. So they're doing the same thing with this Raya animated film that they did with Mulan. So you can rent it. I believe it's still for $30.
Wow.
Interesting.
I wonder if I could see it.
I want to see it, but I don't know if I want to see it $30 bad. Like, I'll just wait till they
Yeah.
put it out there for
Right.
free.
Same as Mulan.
Yeah.
Is it coming to actual theaters though? Or is it only?
If it's
going-
going
Yes,
to
it is.
actual theaters, then I'll just go see it in theaters. I
It
got a
is.
list.
I'm pretty sure it
I'd
is.
much rather do that.
But I don't know for sure. I'm trying to find out.
Plus, it'll be a reason for Leah and I to get out of the house.
There you go. Nope, that's not the word I was looking for. Oh, yep, coming soon.
Yes. It's going to be $30 on top of the subscription. So the same price as Mulan.
Terrible.
Yeah, so opening March 5th. So it will be in theaters. So
Good.
maybe,
In
Oh,
select
I'd
theaters
much rather go see
And
that.
Disney Plus premiere access.
cool.
Cool.
Yeah,
What we're watching.
Yeah, we're not up to date on WandaVision, so we'll have to do that next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I was thinking about we just do it next week anyway. You combine the last 2 episodes and we'll get the season finale in there. So,
For sure.
but this last episode, I will say, was pretty good. Gave a lot of kind of some backstory into the motivations. of some characters.
Whoa. I don't want any spoilers here, Mr. Backstory.
That's not. It's not. If you saw episode 7, you kind of know what I'm talking about.
All right.
So, but it's got some good moments in it. I'm excited for you guys to watch. Speaking of what we're watching, Ty and Nathaniel, what did you guys watch this week?
I'll have Nathaniel go first. I really don't remember anything of note except for like Friends and then that True Crimes or Crime Scene Cecil Hotel. But other than that, I really can't think of anything. So I'll let you go.
We got deeper into Initial D.
Oh yeah. That was last night. That's just that's like a Evangelion for me.
I was gonna say that's your
Yeah.
Evangelion. Yeah, so that's really great. I've barely been enjoying that. Even if you're not a car guy, it pretty much sucks you in. I can understand how a ton of people would have issues with the art design, but I'm actually sort of loving it at this point. Like, I don't know if it's broken me or if it is
I
just
think it's-
that good.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
because you
it's
can
also
tell-
because you have like that background with Evangelion of like kind of like the drawn stuff.
Yeah,
and
sure.
So you're used to it and it's something that you've kind of already fallen in love with. So I think that's why you're.
Yeah, and I mean,
catered
but I
to
don't
it.
even mean that. I'm just mean like also like the break between like the hand drawn stuff and then also the CGI
Yeah.
stuff too. Like I do appreciate the package. I think too. And yeah, you're right. It may be part of that.
It only gets
based
better.
in Evangelion. But yeah, it's been really fun. So yeah, Initial D, check it out. I'm pretty sure it's on Hulu.
I think it is too. At least a little bit of it,
Yeah.
maybe all of it.
But yeah, if anyone's interested in that, definitely check that one out. I watched RoboCop.
I caught a little bit of that. I actually called this before I even came to my room.
That was really funny.
I heard some dialogue and I was like, I bet he's fucking watching RoboCop. And I came out and sure as shit, it's RoboCop.
Adam, have you seen RoboCop?
The original?
Yeah.
I believe I have, actually. I watched it with Papa Schwartz right around the time that the reboot was about to come out.
Sure.
And then we never went and saw the reboot. So I just watched the original.
Blake, I feel like this is one that your dad does, that is like a dad's favorite.
Yeah, I've seen this for sure. I've seen the reboot as well. The reboot's really bad.
Really?
Have any of you guys seen the reboot?
I have seen the reboot.
Did you like it?
I don't mind it just because I have like this fond memory of RoboCop.
Okay, yeah.
And even when you get into like RoboCop 2, like, and they start getting like way worse.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I just like the like art design that they went with this route. He's like way more stealthy, and obviously because of the world has gone that direction with like how good like animation has gotten, CGI and shit like that, and just overall like
film technology's gotten better.
It's improved. I really like the direction they went with it. I think they could have done 1,000 times better with what they had.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it definitely kind of sucked. It definitely got that rap, but I like the overall like design of it.
What do you guys think's winning in a fight, RoboCop or Terminator?
Ooh, RoboCop.
Really?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think RoboCop shoots him from like 30 feet away with his little targeting
system. The Terminators, at least some models of them, shapeshift.
Oh, yeah, I guess you
can.
got to depend on.
If you're talking like Arnold Terminator,
you got it.
Yeah,
Is
that
you got
what Arnold is? Yeah.
T800.
Arnold. Yeah.
That sounds right. Let me see if I can confirm that.
He's definitely not a T1000.
No, we know that.
1000 is
the Robert Patrick one, the one from T2.
Okay. And then
RoboCop's an incredible movie, by the way. Not even from like a cool action standpoint, but like from like a Paul Verhoeven like Starship
Alive, coming with me.
Starship Troopers commentary on like the military industrial complex and their ability to influence local government is incredible. In the same vein, I also watched Dredd this week, which Tyler did watch with me.
I did get to watch that.
So I had seen RoboCop before once a really long time ago, so it was kind of a new movie to me. Dredd I had never actually seen. I had always intended to see it, but I was waiting for the right moment, and that right moment came this week. And that's an incredible movie too. Easily, like, cannot believe that movie is so under the radar as it is. Could easily score highly on the Entropy list. Like one of the better superhero films I've seen.
Way better than Judge Dredd.
Much better than Judge Dredd. Yes.
And real quick to budge in on that confirmation, he is a T800.
T800. There we go. But yeah, that's actually directed. Dredd's an interesting case because it is kind of universally acknowledged that the actual director of Dredd is Alex Garland, who did Annihilation and Ex Machina as well. But he doesn't have directing credit on that. But he also wrote Sunshine and 28 Days Later too.
Pete Travis has credit.
Yes, Pete Travis has credit, who did not write those things. Alex Garland wrote those things. But yeah, it's an incredible movie, and that guy knows how to tell a story. So I also got to a found footage horror flick, kind of continuing the kind of weirdly running thread that Blake and I have been having in this on this podcast. So it's called The Bay.
I don't think I've seen that one.
So it came out in, I want to say like 2012, maybe 20.
You said The Bay.
Might have been a little later than that. Yeah.
2012 looks like.
Okay, yeah. So I was right on. It's a mockumentary, so I think that generally kind of works a little bit better for the found footage style than someone who's like a home video or something like that. And it tells the story of like these people. They all live in like this kind of Chesapeake Bay area of Virginia, and the people in that area. It's July 4th weekend, and people start dying. And it's like really gruesome and bloody, and they think it has something to do with the water, but they can't really figure out what's going on with it. It's really good. I really enjoyed that movie a lot. Would recommend for most people. It's on HBO Max, so you can definitely check that out.
Yeah.
One movie that I did catch this weekend that this week that we have actually already referenced on the pod is Superbad. So got that to watch this week.
LOL.
Always a classic.
That movie is
It is always classic.
hilarious.
Yeah,
dude.
it's
So funny.
It's incredible.
That was like
It's crazy how well it
It
holds
has,
up.
yeah, and
That
has
was like all
aged
of high
really
school.
well.
Yeah.
I mean, besides them calling everyone like the mean F word for gay people,
Yeah, for sure,
like,
for sure, yeah.
and the R word and that kind of thing. Aside from those, like all of the other jokes, like
Are hilarious.
the
you could just get
actual-
away with shit like that.
The
back
actual
then.
humor,
Yeah.
still holds up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Rogan and Hader as the cops are incredible.
Oh my god, it's so fucking funny, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, it's a funny movie.
I also watched the Britney Spears documentary. If you guys saw that on Hulu,
I was
know-
listening to a podcast I usually listen to.
Yeah.
And they actually brought that up. They're like, yeah, it's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating. I think it's clear that, you know what? I'm not even going to give my opinion on this. It's definitely a very interesting and delicate situation. All documentaries have a slant to them. All documentaries have a goal behind them, and all documentaries change information to make it the best for you. That being said, it seems like there's some shady ass shit going on over there, and I hope she gets out and stays healthy and
It's a lot of the
has
music industry.
and has her success because she really deserves it. So I hope good things for her.
Super talented.
Yeah, great.
Super talented.
And she's definitely been hard done by, it feels like,
For
in
sure.
a lot of ways. But that being said, I also, because I watched Superbad, which stars Emma Stone and Jonah Hill, I also actually started a couple episodes of the show Maniac, which is on Netflix, that also stars Jonah Hill and Emma Stone. It came out in
That's gotta be
2000.
Oh, I've seen this, I think.
Yeah, it came
Or
out-
not seen this, but I've heard of this and I've wanted to check it out.
yeah.
Like a comedy they started in.
It's not a comedy. It's definitely a more of a dramedy, I would say. It's a really interesting kind of world that they have set up. It came out 2018.
The
It's-
concept is really interesting.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's basically these two people volunteer to be part of a medical study, and in the medical study, they are going to map these people's brain waves and then provide them with 3 pills that will remap their brain waves and like solve all their problems. So it'll let's say like I'm a cowardly person. It'll determine that like my cowardice is the worst thing that I have about me, and then reroute your brain so that you think in a way that forces you to not be cowardly or anything like that. It's really esoteric and really strange, but it's also really well crafted. It's directed by the guy that Cary Joji Fukunaga, who directed all the first season of True Detective, which I think today is still the best single season of television on the history, or live action television at least, on the history of the planet.
Mandalorian gave it a run for its money.
God, you need to stop with that.
but
You need
we'll
to
see.
stop with that.
But that being said, I haven't gone back to it yet, but I may watch more of it. It is an interesting concept for sure.
Very interesting concept.
That's everything on my list this week.
I honestly still haven't thought of anything.
yeah, besides Dread.
Yeah.
What about Friends?
Yeah, I mean just my regular stuff.
Yeah.
Friends,
sure.
and then what else? Oh
we
yeah,
were all
Cecil,
kind of
Hotel Cecil.
busy.
Yeah,
this
it
week,
actually
too.
was a pretty busy weekend for me.
Yeah.
I had my first 2 days off in 10 days over the weekend, and Friday I did absolutely nothing, and then Saturday, Leah and I had a birthday party to go to. So,
Blake, what about you, man? What did you watch this week?
Dude, I didn't watch much either. I had
Yeah.
a super busy week of work.
yeah,
Just kind of watched my regular night shows. I just watched Batman Beyond. I'm finishing that up. That's still really good too.
oh dude,
Watched a few things on YouTube, gaming streams.
yeah. I was gonna say tons of YouTube for me. That's like
That's
the
it.
only way I get stuff in. So,
Well, there you go. Adam, what about you? What'd you have?
yeah, guy.
I also had a pretty busy week, so I didn't get to a ton of stuff, but I did get to a few
I'm
things.
just carrying the team here.
Continued with Big Bang, of course. It's like my nighttime show. I fucking love that show, man. It's just it's so good. I'm on season 8 now, and it's just like it's still hitting
Sure.
home.
Someday we'll all believe you.
Sure. Yeah. You don't have to. I
Every-
understand the criticism. I understand why people don't like it, but it just for me it hits home. So
Hey, everyone's got those shows.
exactly. Attack on Titan. There are 2. I didn't watch 2 weeks ago episodes. 2 weeks ago. That episode.
Gotcha.
I don't know really how to say that, but
The episode
and then
from
there's
2
another
weeks
one that
ago.
came out. Yes, there you go. And then the episode from yesterday. I haven't watched yesterday's episode, but I watched the week before's. So trying to keep up with that. The season's in a really weird spot right now where they've had kind of their climactic opening to the season, and now it just seems like a lot of plot development. And I just hope it's building up to something really big at the end, because that's what it seems like. And if it doesn't pay off, I feel like this last season might be going in a direction I don't really necessarily
They're
like.
gonna Game of Thrones it.
We'll see. We'll see. I really don't think they will, but I could very well see that happening.
My
based on these
family's
last
going through
episodes.
Game of Thrones right now.
For the first time.
My sister, one of my sisters.
Oh man, that's always so much fun.
Which
Yeah.
brings up, not only did you, but when we were watching RoboCop, you knew that I was watching RoboCop based on dialogue. But when we were watching Dread, Justin mind melded with us.
Oh yeah, I snapped it out that we were watching Dread, and Justin was literally like 10 minutes behind us.
Yeah,
And
he
he's
snapped
like,
us back.
I'm literally watching the same thing, and I was like, what is happening right now?
It was good,
Simulation,
dude.
man. Nathaniel, I hate. I know you hate it, but
I
the
told
evidence speaks for itself.
No, but listen, this goes back to my theory where I said I was waiting for the exact day in which I would watch Dread, and it happened to be last Friday, and I was correct. It was clearly Dread Day. So there you go.
True.
Am I in tune with the simulation? We'll see. Maybe
Thank you.
that's the
Thank you,
reveal
Carl
all
Urban.
along. I hate the simulation because I am the simulation man.
Whoa.
All right. Let's get to this movie we're talking
Whoa,
about.
I'm not done.
Oh, you're not? All right. Keep going.
Nathaniel, you talk for like 20 minutes.
No,
every
I
what you're
do.
watching.
That sounded like I was being a prick there. I wasn't genuinely. I just couldn't
He
think of.
he genuinely is a prick.
Yeah, that's also true. But I also couldn't think of another thing to say afterwards to get myself out of the situation I dug for myself, and so I just kind of went, all right, well, I'm just gonna wear this one.
All right. Well, I'll forgive you this one time, Nathaniel.
All right, I appreciate that.
Of course, and I hope the viewers do as well. I got to some competitive Call of Duty. Their season kind of just started up for officially this past week. They had what they called Super Week because with all the blackouts in Texas, I guess 2 weeks ago now, they weren't able to hold their first launch week. So instead, they had like one giant week of a bunch of games every day. So I was tuning into that a little bit. My favorite team is the Chicago Optic, of course. But that's been fun to watch. And then the last thing that I got to is Gravity for my film class.
Nice.
One that I
That's a good movie,
haven't
yeah.
seen since I saw in theaters, and am very glad I watched it again, because after only these few classes of film and just having all this time, because that movie came out in 2013.
Yep.
Yeah, I saw that in my
Yeah.
freshman year of college.
Just-
That's a good movie.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
I've
So
seen it
having
since then.
had sorry, what was you gonna say?
He says I don't think he's seen.
I
it
don't
since
think
then.
I've seen that since then. My bad. I should
Yeah.
have the mic down.
I hadn't seen it since I saw it in theaters with my dad. So having the time to separate myself from it, and then kind of I feel like I've learned a lot between now and then. It's just like I have a newfound appreciation for that movie, and I walked away from that with thinking much more highly of it,
Good.
based on my viewing, because it's got a lot of great things that it does with the camera work and the symbolism, and just watching that with my newfound
The
knowledge
audio.
of film has just been insane. Yeah, the audio too.
Audio's a
Just
huge
the visual
portion.
effects
Which is
still hold up
hard
really
watching
well.
it at home. That's kind of where you get your downfall from it. So unless you have some kind of
yes,
system.
but I turned up my soundbar with the bass all the way, so like I was trying to get as much as I could out of it, and because you're right, it has some incredible sound and effects and sound mixing. Especially it does a cool thing with the heartbeat.
Yeah, breath and the heartbeat.
Yeah.
Breath and the heartbeat. So and with the bass turned up all the way, it's like you were feeling that heartbeat.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Redeemably, though, you are watching it on an OLED, which
Yes,
is,
that is-
does
a
help.
big factor.
Yeah, what ended up happening is every week my professor will send out a free link for the movie that I can watch it on, but then I have to pull it up on my laptop and then AirPlay it to my
Ugh.
TV, and it looks like crap. And so I
Yeah.
got not even 10 minutes. I got like 5 minutes into Gravity, and I was like, dude, this looks like shit. I
Fuck
gotta
it.
go rent it. So
Yeah.
I just spent the
Yeah.
$4.
Should've let me
I
know.
was like,
I
I
have a-
know I will appreciate it so much more.
Yeah.
Should have let me know. I have it on Vudu. Could have loaned it to
Oh
you.
my god.
Yeah,
you
just
live
always
in-
ask. I mean, we have a plethora of movies that we all have access to. So
For sure.
Sure, I'll make sure to keep that in mind next time. But
Yeah,
regardless,
Gravity's one of my favorite films of all time. I wrote my dissertation on it. It's awesome.
yeah, it is really, really good. I guess that's it for what we're watching.
Now we done.
I believe so. I mean, unless anybody else has got anything to add.
I think the last thing we all watched was Your Name. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
That would be very correct, Nathaniel. This is going to be the review for this episode. Our main segment, guys, main review segment. Nathaniel, we want to give the viewers a rundown in case they are new here or maybe they just forgot of our main review segment here.
Well, if you are new here or maybe you just forgot, welcome back. We've missed you, and welcome originally, I guess. But the way that our review section works here at Back Row Banter is basically we have the split into two sections, the non-spoiler section and the spoiler section.
Imagine that.
I know, it's crazy, right? In the non-spoiler section, we'll kind of go over the stuff that's basically on the IMDb page, the summary, who was in the movie, what year it came out, any kind of little bit of relevant information. We'll give our general summary as much as we can up until any spoiler zones, and then we'll kind of go into our own general thoughts on the movie, any kind of quick-fire reactions we can go with. Then we'll all come into a decision, each personally. It's got to be a yes or no because there is no nuance on the internet, and that's would be actually recommend the film. And then from then on, it's going to be spoiler territory. Once we're in spoiler territory, we're free to spoil it as much as we can. Don't worry, we'll give you lots of warning. And we'll also mark it out in the show notes section for you. And once we're in spoiler zone, we'll kind of get any kind of big plot summary spoilers the attention they deserve. We'll kind of go into our deeper thoughts on there, and then we'll get everybody back in for seeing where we're going to rank it on our Entropy list.
The Up Upon segment.
Hop up on.
I really do want that to be our first bit of merch.
I think we'll work on that. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
But yeah, are you ready to jump into this guy, Adam? Do you want to give the IMDb summary real quick here?
Yeah, we can go into the IMDb summary. So it is Your Name from 2016 with the director is Makoto Shinkai, who has done this, and then we've also mentioned before on the podcast Weathering with You, and I've looked up his Letterboxd and his IMDb. He's got quite a few anime films. One that I've really wanted to check out for about 2 weeks now that I haven't it's called 5 centimeters per second, but that's irrelevant. I'll get to that another time. He's got a plethora of some anime movies, but this is probably his most well known, at least the one I know him. I think it's probably his most popular because this is kind of became a phenomenon almost, right?
Yeah, this is definitely his breakout movie for sure. I think his one prior to that, which I think was like The Garden of Words or something like that.
His one right before this one was
The Garden of Words.
Garden of Words,
which was came out in 2013. Yeah. That actually similarly to this movie, characters from that movie actually appear in this movie as well.
Yeah, for sure.
But overall, in general, where were we? Makoto Shinkai. This was his breakout movie overall. It came out in 2016, basically 2017 over here in the States. This quickly became the highest grossing movie in Japan, breaking all sorts of records, and no one kind of...
I don't think it broke Spirited Away, though.
No, besides Spirited Away. I mean, quickly.
Okay.
In terms of speed, it became
I gotcha.
one of the highest grossing movies in Japan. That was a weird way of phrasing that. But anyways, the American release, like I said, was more in like 2017. He actually wrote the novel as well. Did you come across that?
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't even know there was a novel.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, based on his novel. Okay.
But yeah, our kind of story with this, or do you want to just do the IMDb summary?
Yeah, we can just do the IMDb summary. It's two strangers find themselves linked in a bizarre way. When a connection forms, will distance be the only thing to keep them apart? I guess.
How do you guys feel about that?
As more of a question. When a connection forms, will distance be the only thing that keeps them apart?
Ah, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you. There was a question mark on the end of that. It's actually 2 sentences this week. Usually they're just one.
That's true. How do you feel about it as a summary overall? I feel like it asked the right question. It just gets your interest in there.
It does pique your interest. I will say this movie is too complex in what it does to have it summarized in just one sentence.
Yeah.
So, given the context of what happens to this movie, I think that's actually a pretty decent summary because you can't really get too much more into it without really spoiling some stuff.
Breaking your fucking brain.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think kind of our kind of history for it. I had seen this movie last year for the first time, And then Adam, when you said, were you actually saying on pod that you wanted to watch more anime, or did I just blanketly kind of say you have to watch this? I can't even remember.
So this was actually, if you remember, when I visited for Thanksgiving, when I was home for Thanksgiving break, there was a day. Day where we both had off, and then so I went over to Nathaniel's and Ty's apartment, and then
weren't we all hung over?
Some options.
That was a different day.
That's over winter break.
Oh,
that was
yeah,
Weathering
yeah,
with You
yeah,
day.
Yeah.
So Nathaniel went over there, and then he gave me 4 options of movies to pick from. It was this, Y Tu Mama Tambien. I forgot the other 2. One was some monster movie.
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh, and there's a Thing.
Yeah, The Thing, and then I'm pretty sure it was Spring as well.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yep, that's right. I remember that day. I was picking picking movies that broke the genre, or that defined the genre,
or are great examples of their genre.
Yes, yeah.
Which I think this is a great example of anime film.
I think it's a great example of a romance.
That too. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so since then it quickly became take the story from there. So your kind of feelings about it. It's become notorious in Back Row Banter group chat lore.
And on pod lore. I mean, I've brought this up in what we're watching every time I've watched it. I think I've watched it 7 times now, including last night's viewing. Between now and November. So in like 3 months, I've watched it about 7 times.
Crazy.
Yeah. It's one that really just captured me the first time I watched it. I wanted to rewatch it right away. And so I watched it like 2 days later when I got home from Thanksgiving, or when I got back to school from Thanksgiving. And then ended up just buying it and showing it to everybody I could that would watch it with me. So at this point, I've now seen it like 7 times.
There you go.
Wow, yeah.
But yeah, the kind of basic overall summary is it tells the story of 2 characters, Taki and Mitsuha. Mitsuha, who is a young girl living in a remote town. Taki, who lives in Tokyo and is a waiter as well. They both go to high school as well, obviously. And they soon find themselves linked to each other in sort of, I don't know.
It's a body swap.
It's a body swap. Yeah, we'll say that portion of it.
If
you truly want no spoilers in this, too late for you. But like you find that out within the first 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So each night, while one of them, or not each night, but occasionally, while at least 2 or 3 times a week, I think they say, one of them will fall asleep and they will dream that they are the other person and living about their day. And they quickly kind of try to start to adapt to this and kind of come up with different ideas. And then it all gets a lot more complicated from there. But if you're interested, you should go watch it. And that's all we'll say on the summary portion of it. But Tyler, Blake, since you are the newbies to this, how did you feel about it? And Blake, I'm particularly interested to hear your thoughts on this.
Me too.
I'll kind of jump in first. Yeah, this is the first time I've seen that movie. And to be fair, I mean, this is certainly something that I have to have multiple watches of to get a better grasp. So I'm already kind of limited in that. But just kind of first, before we even get into spoilers, it looks phenomenal.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Like, that's what sold me on
it.
Oh, my God. The jump. I was like, wow, this looks really good.
It's a beautiful looking movie.
Especially from an anime perspective. So that's got to be a lot of like hand-drawn stuff, and it just looks really good. So that kind of got me hooked. And then, then it kind of, the movie went on. We're not going to jump into spoilers. Then you start to realize, like, hey, it's a body swap and things of that nature. You start building friendships and things of that nature. But yeah, I like it. I think what sold me first was definitely the aesthetic of it, how it physically looked.
Sure.
And then the story was pretty good too to follow up. But I've got to watch it a handful of times to get a better understanding.
For sure. Yeah, I was really intrigued to find out what your thoughts would be, because we know on pod obviously that you're not opposed to anime.
Yeah,
but
I probably watched the least amount of all of us.
Yeah, but okay, makes sense. So, but we were definitely like, this is definitely the most out of all of our comfort zones. This is the most furthest out of Blake's comfort zone.
Yeah, and it's not a typical anime that most people think of.
True.
You know, like this is one of those things like, excuse me. I don't know. I'm not burping. It's just like coming out, and that's my bad.
It's just growling.
Weird.
It's my fear sound that I got going on over there.
Wild. No, this is like Initial D and that other one that I talked previously about, Durarara. It's not a typical anime.
Bless you.
It's cool. Thank you. It's really cool to see those things happen. And I guess I'll just kind of go into like what I thought about the movie.
Yeah.
As long as, is it? I don't know. If,
How many
were
times
you
have
good?
you seen this?
This is my first time.
This was his first time as well.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But yeah, I it's one of those things where we get into it and it ends up being an animated movie, but it's incredibly filmic, cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
The shots with like their feet and the dust kind of falling through.
Sure. Yeah.
At one point, this isn't really a spoiler, but at one point she's like taking off her shirt or her sleep gown, and in typical anime fashion, you would think that like, oh my God, you might see a boob, but they have this incredible way of going around it, and there's just this glare that goes across the mirror, and you don't see anything, and it's always like putting this little piece of like mystery behind everything. I love it. I didn't think I would like it this much. I was actually kind of opposed to it when you guys were talking about it so much.
A little bit of tall poppy syndrome where you're just like, nah, you guys like it a lot, so screw
100%, yeah. But yeah, I'm actually kind of really glad that I was forced into watching this, and if anybody like truly knows me, you know that I'm like a romantic.
Oh, you're a big sweetie.
Yeah, and yeah. So this hit like all the feels. This was like a good time at a right place in my life, and I loved it. This was great. 100% recommend.
Yeah, we were watching it, and then like it ended. I just heard Tyler go, man. It's like almost
I'm so glad.
Oh man, they got me on this one.
Yeah, you just like
right.
I remember like like when you're really tired, you just kind of like take your hands and you just like rub your eyes, and then like you just like massage your head a little bit.
Run your hands through the hair.
I was so tired because it was late, but I was also just like emotionally tired because it took so much out of me, and it does. I slept like a baby last night. I'm usually typically up by like 7:30, and Leah had to wake up for class this morning, and I did not want to get up, and usually I'm the one that's like, all right, let's get up, go to school, I'm gonna get ready. I literally could have laid in bed for like another 2-3 hours.
Did you watch Your Name again?
I actually probably could have. The weather was right, and the sun was coming in the room perfectly.
That was a great moment too for Tyler. Is like we were getting ready to watch it last night, and Tyler's like, "Is there like any rain in this movie?" And I was like, "Oh, don't you worry, friend. We will have some nice atmospheric weather here."
I'm a very involved person when I like watching movies, and I like the way movies like take you back to a nostalgic place in your life. They like mean that much to you. So like anytime that like certain things happen in certain movies that you can relate to like what's actually happening in your life, whether it's like emotional or just like weather.
We like to set a tone, an atmosphere.
Yeah, fucking movies.
They're great, aren't they?
Yeah, this is one that got me.
Yeah, I mean, if you can't tell from how positive I've been about it already, it's a recommend for me too. Obviously, I think this is a movie that has an uncanny ability to resonate with people of all walks of life, and is, again, the crazy thing about it. It's a movie about love that could be easily enjoyed by 14-year-old girls and 4 mid-20s men.
100%.
And Papa Schwartz.
And Papa. Oh, we've got Papa Schwartz.
Also enjoyed the movie. Yeah, we got 5 recommends here on Back Row Banter. It's the 4 of us, and Papa Schwartz gave his thumbs up.
I'll be honest. He's probably got to be our first guest.
Oh, you think Papa Schwartz got to be the first one to phone in?
Foley is going to take great offense to that.
You know?
Yeah, I was going to say, Foley might fight us there.
I know, but like a dad feature?
True.
Very true, yeah.
Back row dad.
Yeah. One thing I do want to mention really quick is and that's back to the animation style that Tyler was talking about. You're right, it's very filmic, but what they do is like, and it's almost kind of hard to notice because they do it so smoothly, and it's very unique to this animation style, is that they have it almost like a camera. It's almost like the animation is filmed from a camera, and so they have these shots where it's like panning around the animation and panning around characters, and they also have quite a few shots where it's playing with the focus, and the focus will change mid-shot as things are moving, and it's incredible. It's something I really didn't notice until I watched it a few times, but because that's how subtle it is. But that's honestly, some of these shots is like, that's what makes it have that filmic qualities. It does something no other anime really does that off, or at least typical anime does. Is it's got this kind of filmic camera quality to it. It's as if it's shot with a camera, even though it's animated. It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, one of the beautiful things about animation is that you are not limited in any way by the laws of the universe. Obviously, you can create whatever you want, right?
Literally.
And so what that allows you to do is to have infinite creativity on exactly what you want to put on camera or put on the page or anything like that. And one of, what that oftentimes leads into, or what that can lead into, is you just throw up anything that you want that looks cool or has something that kind of, you fall into the thing of always having to constantly escalate. Whereas like what Shinkai obviously does in this movie, and what all kind of good storytellers do, is they are putting purpose into every shot that they do. And they are constantly using the shot at each shot of the movie to build on each other and to build on what has come before it, and to add meaning in the difference between those shots. And it's just a superbly crafted film in that way. But yeah, I think as we've said, the animation style in this is incredible. Which is also mirrored in Weathering with You too, as well.
They take it even somehow a step up, I think. At Weathering with You.
Yeah, Weathering with You.
It's just Weathering with You, the water and animated in that movie.
That's
is
the
just,
second one of this,
oh
right?
my god!
It's not a sequel, but it is.
It's more of a successor.
Yeah, it is tangentially related, spiritual sequel, I guess you could say in a lot of ways.
Is made by the same people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Takes place in the same universe as well.
Yeah.
Fair.
But yeah, should we go on to spoilers zone now?
Yeah, let's
spoil the shit out of it.
All right, hold on.
That's going to be, in case I think I already said this, but that's going to be a recommend all around, correct?
Yes,
for sure.
100%.
All right, for sure. So please go check out I almost said Weathering with You. Your Name, if you have not already, and if you don't want it spoiled for you, then we're going to get into spoilers.
Where can they get it real quick? Where do we say? We all have a copy.
On Amazon Prime. And I think it might be available to stream on one of those like animation sites, but I don't know for sure.
And you can obviously get it on Apple TV, because that's where you got yours, right?
Yes, you can get on Apple TV as well. So you can rent it on Apple TV or through your iPhone or anything like that. But it's also on Amazon Prime. I believe that's how Papa Schwartz rented it as well.
Yeah,
Blake, I think that's how you rented it too.
I did mine through Vudu, but you can do it on YouTube as well.
Okay. Sure. And yeah, so it's out there.
After the spoiler warning, I'm going to tell the funny Waz story about Your Name. So if you want to find out what the funny Waz story is, you have to go and watch Your Name, and then you can come back and listen to the spoilers.
Okay. And then quick side note, something I found out today is that Weathering with You is actually on HBO Max.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
So in case you want to check that one out too, or instead of Your Name, go ahead and that one's just free to stream on HBO Max. So
cool.
Spoilers. Check out the subscription.
Spoiler zone. Population us. So the Waz story, real quick.
The water's fine.
So Waz actually he tells the story that when he had a copy of this, he lent it to a couple friend of his, and he didn't hear from him for a while. Then he went back and talked to him. They're like, "Oh yeah, we finally watched it, and we'll give it back to you later." And then like another week went by, and he was like, "Hey, what's going on with the movie?" They're like, "Oh, we just watched it again. We wanted to show our friends." He's like, "Oh, okay." And then like another week went by, and he went into work, and they just bought him another copy and just gave it to him. And they're like, "Yeah, it's ours now."
Yeah.
But so spoiler zone. So kind of complicated, but turns out that Mitsuha is 3 years behind Taki, and when they are switching bodies with each other. And in fact, when most of the time that Taki has known her, she has been dead, having been killed by a meteor that is striking that strikes the town. So Taki at that point tries to, once he realizes he can no longer can no longer switch with Mitsuha, tries to track her down, finds the town, finds out that it's been destroyed, then goes to the shrine where Mitsuha and her family have their Shinto shrine, drinks the sake left behind by Mitsuha.
3 years previously.
3 years previously. Then switching to Mitsuha's body on the day of the meteor strike, putting everything in place, knowing that what is going to happen. He then runs around the town, putting everything in place to try and prevent the meteor strike. He then
Well, not prevent the meteor strike, but
People
get the
dying.
town
prevent people dying.
Yeah, if he was able to prevent the meteor strike, this would have been a wildly different.
True. That's where Mecha Godzilla comes in. Didn't see that one coming, did you, Blake? So then, gets the town prepared to evacuate. He then realizes that Mitsua's body must be over in the shrine, and she's currently in his body. So he runs to the shrine, where they then switch places again. In the process, realizing that they hadn't known, or Mitsuo had visited Taki 3 years before, and he just didn't know who she was. And so they come to that realization, and then they are then split apart. They don't get to say I love you to each other, and they slowly start to forget each other. And it's the most gut-punching part of the movie is that pen dropping through his hand.
Cut,
Yeah.
I was watching last night, and my 7th time watching it, and that cut happened, and I still just went, oh my God. It just fucking right in the nuts every time.
Yes. So Mitsuo then goes back to the town and stands up to her father, rescuing the town. We cut back to Taki, who is reawoken on the night that he went 3 years later to go and try and find the town. Then we cut to 5 years later. Taki is now living in Tokyo as an architect and runs into
landscape architect.
Landscape architect. I apologize.
Sorry, after 7 viewings, you pick up some things that others might not.
He runs into Miss Okudero. It kind of goes about his life, and the film kind of ends on the two of them descending the staircase at the exact right time, introducing each other and asking each other what their name is, which was the other plot thread that I left out the entire time. They can never remember each other's name.
Real quick, I'm watching the movie right now, as we do sometimes with the pod, and that cut just happened with the pen, and it just got me again. Yeah.
So that's the story.
Yeah. It's a lot to take in on first watch.
It's wild, right?
That's why I was
It's a lot to talk about
need
now.
to watch it more.
Yes.
So I can fully grasp what's going on.
Well, then you realize too that it doesn't even start. It starts with the comet coming down 3 years in the past, and like it almost ends with Mitsuo as well. It's wild.
Yeah.
I still lose track of who's who at certain points in this movie.
For sure. Yeah, that happened to me a lot.
Point.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, did either of you guess the 3-year twist?
No, I did not.
No.
Because I figured like you get the one gut punch of the oh no she's dead, and then you get the other one of oh wow they were 3 years in the past.
Yeah.
The entire time too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, we're all just like taking it in again as well.
It's one we talked about it earlier, but this movie is incredibly beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't emphasize that.
The comet scene,
crazy,
I think all the time. Their notion of Twilight, and it's there's that blue, purple, like all of that. I think is just gorgeous.
When they met on the mountain,
yes.
and the sun was coming down, and I literally said magic hour before they said magic hour. Did you get like super excited? Were you like, oh my God, he did it?
I was like, yes, he is in the right space right now. He is with me. We're along.
Because I'm like sitting on the couch, and that scene's about to happen, and like it just I was like magic hour. And then they both said it, and I was like, oh my God, it's happening. But the lighting in this movie is one thing that I have to like just be in awe at.
The shot that I think of all the time is him drawing and the pencil on the paper, and I'm just what the fuck? Like, how did they
that's
do
one
that?
of those ones where the camera's kind of playing with I can't even say camera, but the animation plays with the focus, and it gives it that camera quality. Like
when
that
you
shot.
Go ahead.
Okay, that shot when they're going up the mountain is another great one. When the grandma's taking them up the mountain, and there's also some great music with that. We never mentioned the music. The fucking soundtrack, incredible, incredible.
Rad Wimps.
But yeah, when they're going up the mountain, that might be one of my favorite scenes because it's like this nice, almost violin. I don't know if it's a violin, but it's kind of got these shrill tones to it as it's cutting to these different images of scenery, and you got birds flying, you got trees blowing. It's just like. It is so serene and it is so gorgeous, but the combination of the anime style with the music just mixes so well, especially in that scene and then just in general throughout the movie.
Yeah, I'm all in on Masubi. Masubi's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm pro Masubi.
And then the string scene at the end, where it's like it's going through all the different animation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Musubi scene
Yeah.
when he drinks the sake and falls on the back.
It was really, really cool to see all those types of animations kind of play into each other, and then it goes back to the whole theme of like, you know, things are tied together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't. I'll probably never be able to stop talking about this movie, so we could just.
I know.
Somebody else can talk.
I'll never stop watching it.
Yeah, like I said, it really does have an uncanny ability to resonate with people. I find it transcendent in a lot of ways. You don't fall into the typical boy girl romance kind of thing.
And that's where I thought it was gonna go.
Sure.
First,
there's definitely they know when to zig when you're expecting them to zag portion of it. And
boy, do they zag.
they zag pretty hard. But I love the interactions with them, and like, you know, it's love. We're talking about love, folks. This movie is earnestly and big-heartedly wants people to love each other and fall in love with each other, and is unafraid to talk about the hard parts of love too, of when you really are in love with someone and you miss the shit out of them, or or when you don't have anyone to love and you feel like you're searching, and it kind of gives you this answer to that in a really beautiful way. And yeah, it's a very earnest, profound movie in a lot of ways, I think.
I love what it does with the you know what? Actually, before I talk, Blake, why don't you? Do you have anything you want to talk about? I've talked already a little bit.
Yeah. I like it overall. I mean, in terms of favorite scenes and stylization and everything. The meteor scene, or is it a comet or meteor?
It's a comet.
Comet.
Yeah.
Meteor.
I think a comet. I was gonna say I think a
Right.
comet is the thing that's, and then when pieces break off,
It
those are
becomes a meteor,
meteors.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Nonetheless, I mean that
Space
that looks
Force.
well, but it definitely it veered away from what I originally thought it was gonna be. To Nathaniel's point, I definitely thought it was gonna be kind of like your classic love story, which I was gonna be cool with, to be completely honest.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
If it looked
already
good enough,
looked good. I was like, I'm cool. You know what I mean?
that's good.
There's everything that I could ask for. Then it kind of had all the twists and everything in it, and you really get to see it for what it is. I could say one thing: I'm glad that I actually end up buying it. So to rent it, it was the same price.
Oh, you did.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just buy it, and I'm so happy once I started watching. Like, I'm glad I bought this because I definitely want to watch this again.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad.
Did you catch the? It's not. It's like a beat of the movie, but like I love the bit when it's the 5 years later and Taki's walking around and you see the two friends, Tenchi and Saito, and they're talking about their wedding.
Like, huh?
You talk about their wedding, you're like, oh my god, they got out, and then like it kind of puts everything else in there too. Like, it's just, I love that it all builds up to the one last scene.
Mhm.
Like I love that they know enough to set that tension up in there. How did you feel? What about in the first 5 minutes when you got like the sitcom style opening number where you're like, oh no, what have I like gotten in for?
Yeah, it was interesting. Like it opens up, and then it's obviously at this point you don't really know it's a body swap, but it's like a girl like feeling her breasts, and I'm like, I don't really know what I'm watching here. You know?
Yeah. It's a bizarre open.
And then the first musical track happens, and it's like that weird like cutting between. It's almost like an anime style opening.
Yeah. But yeah, dude. And then it started getting rolling, and then you, like I said, you kind of put together it's a body swap. Then you're like, okay, well, like, how is this happening? You know what I mean? You start to ask yourself all these questions. But yeah, I was sold, dude.
Yeah.
I was sold. I like it.
What did you think about at the end when they walk past each other while it's raining and she's got the umbrella up and he walks
he
by
doesn't
and
initially see her. Yeah.
he turns and thinks he's like, did I see something? And then he turns around and goes, nah. And then she turns like, oh, did I see something? And they go so close, and you're not sure if they're gonna, eventually end up together. And then they finally do. Like, what was your reaction at that first scene though?
I would say kind of surprised, but I mean, obviously you're hopeful, right? That there can be some interaction. The one big question I guess I had overall though is towards the end when Taki has the chance to like write his name, but he chose to write "I love you" instead.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, obviously kind of meaningful. But I was trying to figure out what was like the reasoning for that. opposed to just writing your name?
I think he just got caught up because they see each other and then he writes it on her name first, or he writes it on her arm, and then she says like, "Oh, we should write each other's names on it so we won't forget." And then that's when he starts to write the name on there. Yeah, because they talk for like 30 seconds there, and I think they get caught up in it or whatever. I'm not positive that even if they did write each other's names on there, it wouldn't like fade away like everything else has too.
Yeah.
But that is that moment in there of like, God damn it, guys, just write your fucking names.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That's what I was waiting on. You know what I mean?
I think it's actually pretty cool though now that you bring that up, because it's almost like ridiculous how much people get so wrapped up in love sometimes.
Yeah.
That you almost forget to say their name. You call them babe or I love you.
Yeah,
you know those things.
So many terms of endearment.
It's pretty crazy that like you could tie that back in your life. You almost forget to say their name. Yeah. Because you have so many other ways of, either getting their attention or you're just so in love you just,
Well,
habits.
and then, the name of a person also becomes so much more to you as well, and that it starts to encompass, babe and all those pet names too. Those all influence each other and kind of become around it too. And like it also knows too, names have a lot of power. If all of us have ex-girlfriends. If we meet another girlfriend with that same name, you're kind of like, well, this one's out the door already. Or like,
you're fucking nuts.
It would have to be it has to be a special person to break that old perception of that name out of your head too and everything. Right. So I mean, it just I love the questions that it asks as well of knowing a person and what can love be more than just knowing a person more intimately than you ever thought possible, and of course, if you were sharing your body with someone, literally sharing their experience with them, you would start to develop these extra feelings on top of that as well too.
It's part of you.
Who else can know you that well, right?
Exactly.
Which all ties into the Musubi and the idea of what is lost is found, and things break apart and split back together again. Because shockingly enough, it's a well-made movie.
I love what it says about dreams and just how that plays into your life, because I feel like dreams can be so vivid and have meaning behind them, and then it's weird just how quickly they can fade. So when they started to start to forget each other's names and forget the experiences that they were having, that was something I had like a very visceral reaction to, because it's like I have pretty vivid dreams a lot of times, but remembering them is always so hard. And so like I was able to just kind of put myself in that spot. Like I know what they're experiencing as far as forgetting everything that they had went through, because you go through so much in dreams, and it almost like Inception, like that stuff feels real at the time until you wake up, and then once you wake up you can kind of fade a little bit. And so the fact that they had that play into the plot of it, I thought was really, really, really clever.
Yeah, and you feel that little pang when you realize the grandma, when she's like, oh yeah, I used to dream for someone too, and you're just like, oh no, grandma. There's one other thing I wanted to bring up too as well. What was it? Oh, it was at the end of the movie when I turned to Tyler and we were looking at each other, and I was like, do you see why Adam loves this movie as like a 20-year-old boy in college? Like, can you understand why it gets under his skin so much? And he said, yeah.
No.
Yeah, I see why Adam holds it to high on his chart. And I see why you recommended it to him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's good. I think it can resonate with a lot of people. I think it hits a ton of audiences.
Yeah, it's a coming of age story too, in a lot of ways as well.
Yeah.
Ty, what are you gonna say?
This is just it's gonna age really well for me.
Yeah,
and I'm really excited about it, because there's still so like I feel like I got a lot on the first one, but like the second one's gonna be
so much more.
Yeah, the second one's gonna be great.
Yeah,
and
it's good.
Yeah, man.
It's very similar. I say you kind of have to take this for a grain of salt, but it's very similar to like how Pixar and Disney films, obviously, where there's just a much larger message. I think this is a much larger film, though, right?
Yeah.
In terms of like the actual plot, where it's like, on the surface level, it's like that's why it hits all audience. Like you said, can a 13-year-old girl sit down and watch this? Yes, it's a love story,
right?
You know what I mean? But then, like you said, it also gets the attention of adults. Right. And everything. Yeah, it's good, man. I mean, it's good.
I think that's a pretty apt comparison. I don't think that's crazy at all to make the
Yeah.
Pixar connection too. I think they're both, like you said, they're both studios that have clearly thought through their films.
For
You know,
sure,
they're not following just plot points because they want the plot points to be there. They've
Right.
set up these little pieces and then they follow out those actions to their kind of conclusions. I think they have an idea of where they want to go and the message they want to say for sure, but they also don't, you know, there's no set structure to those that it seems like that they're following. They're not just there to follow a roadmap or something like that.
Right.
Which ironically is, you know, one of the things that I think happens most in like and has become kind of emblematic of what people think of the romance genre. Too, you know, people are kind of like used to that. You hear the name rom-com and your mind automatically goes to chick flick. It doesn't go to Meet the Fockers or something like that.
Exactly.
You know, it's got all of these, you know, the romance genre and love stories have all these connotations in it, but and kind of things. But I love that this is just such a great example of that genre while also being just such a well-crafted filmic experience overall too. And I think that's all I have to say. I think I might have talked as much as I can.
This is gonna be like a big buy for me. I'm probably gonna go out and like get a 4K steelbook.
Yeah, I got it. They don't have a 4K. It's only a Blu-ray, but they do have this. That's why.
But yeah, I'm excited.
Ty, if you like this, I highly recommend checking out.
I've already made up my mind. I'm gonna buy a 4K steelbook of that as well.
Well, we have a copy.
What's the second one? Weathering You?
Weathering with You. Yeah, it's
Weathering
up
with
there
You.
actually,
Okay.
above your right shoulder. It's about the 9th or 10th.
That's the
down from
one.
top.
That's the one. Back Row Banter Claus brought me for Christmas.
Yes.
Back Row Banter. Sorry, it was Back Row Banter.
Back Row Banter. It's above the Fifth Element and below Texas Chainsaw.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Wow, what a spot!
That's
In no particular order.
yeah, just an honor of glory there.
Right.
But got good neighbors.
Yeah, fuck
exactly.
yeah.
I don't think I'd go outside, but
One last thing I do want to mention about the animation is how goddamn good the food looks in this movie.
oh yeah.
And it's just I was watching this and I was like, damn, I'm really hungry right now. And in Weathering with You, there's a Big Mac that me and Nathaniel were both like salivating over because it looks incredible. And I was actually listening to a podcast today that was talking about this. It was a conversational podcast, but they actually, again, simulation. They were talking about We Are Name and Weathering with You. And they also mentioned how good that Big Mac in Weathering with You was.
That's funny.
Yeah, the food in this, I don't know how they animated so well, but the food looks
this
so
movie
good.
looks so good, dude. Yeah, there's
we keep bringing it up, but you can't stress it enough how good this movie looks.
Did you have something else you want to say? I know you were starting a comment there, Blake.
I think I might have lost my train of thought. I think
okay.
I think it
I'm
was
sorry.
the second one, or not I guess it's not a sequel, right? But that's on HBO Max, right? That's what we
Yes.
just confirmed.
Yeah.
earlier? Okay. Yeah, I think I would try to check that out for sure.
It's
I would definitely
definitely recommend it. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't gone back into kind of his other stuff yet. I don't know if it's any good, but there's definitely
I want to go back.
Does he have any
Like I
live
mentioned
action
that.
stuff? This guy?
No, I don't believe he does.
No, it's all anime.
Yeah, I think it's all animation. But yeah, and what's crazy too is like we kind of keep bringing it up, but the realism in the animation, which I think is not something that you necessarily think about when you think of anime, for sure too. And I think that it can also be kind of a good entry point for someone who maybe isn't used to anime or anything like that. Which good thing we're going over this in the spoiler section where they probably haven't listened to it. But like the iPhones look just exactly like
For
iPhones.
sure.
Like
I noticed that too.
yeah, and like the notifications that pop up on the phone and everything like that. Tokyo itself is a very kind of bright, vibrant city in this movie. It's kind of very interesting juxtaposing that with Weathering with You, where you get kind of more of a ground level look of Tokyo. Tyler and I both were like, as soon as we opened up on Mitsuo's town, and like not the kind of initial shot, but the kind of secondary afterwards, where we just got you get those incredible shots of the cliffs and the kind of the different tiers of the kind of like housing estates on there. And Tyler and I were like, if we lived here, we would never leave. Like they make it look like the most beautiful place on the planet.
Yeah. I'm like probably the biggest anime fan here, and so like growing up, like seeing towns like that and like shows and stuff like that, like one of my dream trips is to go to Japan and just like never leave again.
I would love to go to Japan.
But yeah, the fact that it's like fall / like winter, and then you get like some nice summers and stuff like that there. And the landscape is just ridiculously beautiful. I said as soon as it popped up, like, if I would have grown up there as a kid, I would have never left. So yeah, there's always something to say when something like that out of an animated film captures you that much. And it does it for like every step of the way in different ways for different people.
Yeah.
One last thing I do want to talk about is the difference between the sub and the dub.
Okay.
Because I watched the sub all the first 6 times. I watched it as the dub, and then I watched the sub for the first time last night for this viewing.
How did you guys watch it?
I actually have the opposite experience. I watched it the first time in sub, and I think every time after that I've been watching it with someone, so it's been dubbed.
Okay.
But yeah, so Tyler did dubbed, and I'm assuming you did dubbed.
I
as
did.
well.
Yeah, I was contemplating because they were the same price. But they ultimately, I was like, I've got to go dubbed.
Yeah, I think the dub's really good on this one.
I think the dub is good.
The sub is definitely. I mean, you just get a little bit more inflection on the emotions, obviously.
For sure.
And if I remember correctly, the translation is not exactly 1-to-1, but it's
it is
close.
Definitely not. In
Yeah.
fact, it's quite jarring how different it is as far as some of the terms. Like they talk about time and places where they talk about connections instead. I think, and there are some weird. So there's some small differences. Obviously, it's still the same story, but I honestly kind of liked where the sub went with its dialogue than compared to the dub, because the sub felt like much more straightforward, and it felt like they almost explained things a little bit better than the dub did. But go ahead.
In a weird thing, I don't actually know if this is true, but I heard it anecdotally this week, and I'm going to repeat it now. But it sounds actually that now that I'm saying it now, it may not be true. But apparently, what I heard was that in Japanese, there's no kind of like direct translation for the word soul. And so that's why we always get, like, in Ghost in the Shell, it's ghost. And then that kind of means a different thing for us here. Or like in Evangelion, you obviously have the AT field and everything that goes on with that. So there's no kind of direct thing, kind of translation 1-to-1 for the word soul and kind of like the concept of the soul.
Right.
And so I think maybe that's also maybe part of it too.
Could be, yeah.
But I remember with Weathering with You, because I watched it I watched it the same. Watched the subs first, and then I've watched the dubs since then. I remember the difference in that one actually being more pronounced than Your Name, but I could be wrong as well. But yeah, I think you're right.
Both the sub and the dub of Weathering with You, and I honestly can't remember how much of a difference there was.
Sure, I think it's when you get into kind of those esoteric spirituality bits that you find the most differences between the two of them. So they like the concept of Musubi and the connections and everything that. That just I think has more of kind of a spiritual bend in the sub version, if I remember. Adam.
Yeah, there's a bit more of like a supernatural kind of vibe to it that you still get in the dub, but you just get it way more, and they explain it almost way better than in the sub for some reason.
Well, then, like, what's the key difference there? Like, could you explain what they explain better?
The thing with the time versus, I think they use time in the sub, and then they use just like connections or something in the dub when talking about like the chords and stuff, and it kind of changed the meaning almost of what those chords meant, and I kind of understood it better through the sub than I did the dub. So it was a slight difference like that. Besides that, there are some different terms that are used, and they change the terms from Japanese to English just because there's not a great translation for them. Because even in the sub, you'll see it'll say like the English term, but then it'll also have the Japanese term for it because there's not a great translation for it. It seems like.
Sure.
So there are some slight things. The voice acting in the sub was fantastic as well as the dub. But Mitsuha is the highlight of that for me. I think her voice actor is really, really good, and plays the character a lot differently, because in the dub she's much more peppy and has a much higher tone to her, which honestly doesn't. I mean, it happens quite often with the dub, but like still, usually when you go to a sub, the Japanese voice actor is also usually pretty high up or peppy. This one wasn't the case. It was not monotone, but it had a lower range to it where it got up and down, but it had the average tone or average range or whatever you want to say about it was a little bit lower than it was in the dub, and so it kind of changed her character.
She was more tortured in the sub.
Sure, if you want to go with that, yeah.
That's cool, man. I think that's really interesting. It's been too long since I've seen the sub for me to give any, it seems accurate kind of opinions on between the two of them. But I do remember, weirdly remember the know what joke working in both of them. Like when I think Teshi's like, you guys know what, and then they respond with know what. In like it's a play on the obviously the tense and everything like that, but I weirdly remember that also being like the same beats in the sub version as well. But yeah, interesting. Maybe I'll have to go back and watch the sub again at some point.
I think it's worth it, and I would recommend for anybody out there who's thinking about giving Your Name a watch, maybe give it a rewatch in the sub instead of the dub.
But let's rank it hop upon.
Hop upon? Is it time to get a hop upon?
I think it's time to get it hop upon.
Yeah, I mean, we talked for a rather long time on this movie, so I don't know how much more we'll get out of it. Welcome back, listeners who skipped over the spoilers. Please go watch Your Name, man. After that spoilers talk, I'm just so amped about this movie, man, that I really, if you haven't watched it, please go watch it, please. But we're gonna go ahead and rank Your Name up upon the Entropy list. The Entropy list, for those of you who do not know, is Back Row Banter's official list of every movie we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all on one fantastic list. If you'd like to reference the Entropy list for yourself, you can do so by checking the episode description, where it's linked to my Letterboxd. Man, I don't want to go first here because my opinion on this is probably going to be way different.
What was your Papa Schwartz overall opinion? We didn't really delve into that too much.
I should have. I have the bulletin points here, but he liked it overall. He had to look things up after the movie just to kind of have it explained for him a little bit better.
For sure, yeah.
And so he said once he kind of looked into that, he appreciated it even more than he did when he first finished it. Because he said he liked it, but then he looked it up to kind of get it explained, and then he liked it even more. And then he liked the alternative animation style where the camera is a little bit more loose, and then it's a different style of animation almost. And he liked those a lot more, and he found it kind of jarring that it went back and forth between the regular animation style and then those animation style, and he wished it was just the better animation style the whole way through. Which, I guess that's kind of fair for someone who doesn't watch anime that much or isn't kind of used to the style of it, but. He liked it overall. He was pro Your Name, which I was very happy to hear because I wasn't even sure if he was going to watch this one. So I'm glad he did.
That is good to hear. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough to put this thing on here, man.
Oh man, I'm gonna toss it over to Nathaniel, the first one to watch this film.
You're just feeding me higher, huh?
Sandbagged.
Okay, yeah, let's rank this guy. This is actually interesting for me.
This is very interesting. First anime movie. I'm hopefully not the last.
You're right. And it's like I'm trying to also read it as like not put my personal how much I like it personally on there too, and get like my own emotional thing behind it. But then like there's also so many of these movies that I've already done that with too. So man, this is a rough one.
This is a wild one. I'm looking at this list, like even I love it, but even I don't know where I'm necessarily gonna put it.
I think I'm gonna put you in kind of a brutal spot here, Adam. I'm sorry.
Fuck.
I think I got this at 10. Right at 10. Below Inception, above Whiplash.
Okay.
I could easily be swayed to 9. Green Room's breaking my heart there, like it does every week, but that's just that's that personal stuff too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I got this at 10 or number 9. I don't. I think Get Out is going to be more remembered. I think Prisoners is going to be kind of that easier access film. I mean, in my mind, I had them switch last week. Halloween, Unassailable, Hereditary, a monomyth, like Pan's Labyrinth, Arrival, Django to Shining, just all bulletproof. So
Heavy hitters, man.
yeah,
Heavy
I
hitters.
think I got this one 9 or 10 for me.
9 or 10. Okay, Ty.
I kind of wanted you to go first. I really want to see where this is for you.
For me,
Yeah.
Oh, Adam's
that's
going.
that's brutal. Okay, man,
Because he's
think
got me
Adam's
kind
going
of swayed
5.
one way, and I want to know what you're gonna say to see if you can sway me another way.
Yeah.
we'll see.
So-
I don't know if I really can, because to be honest, I had it around the same area. I would
Okay.
feel bad putting it above something like Get Out or
All right.
actually Get Out. I don't know, man. I do like it that much. Even
I know you do.
I wasn't as high on Prisoners, man. You know what?
Prisoners is
this is
good,
climbing.
man. Yeah,
as I'm
it's
talking
tough.
myself
Yeah,
through
it's
this,
tough.
it's climbing
Yeah.
up there for
Yeah.
me,
What do you think,
man.
man?
I'm gonna drop a bombshell here, but I'm gonna put it at number 6.
I knew you. I said 5 earlier. I was close. I was close.
Oh man, I really hope people enjoy the Entropy List rankings, and
Those
like this is as fun for
Yeah.
them as it is fun for us, because we do get actually kind of a kick out of this as well, trying to
Yeah,
like.
I do.
Man.
I do. Number 6 for someone who's not referencing the Entropy List is Halloween. That's the slot.
Right.
You'd be
So you
knocking
would put it
down.
after Hereditary and before Halloween.
after Hereditary and then before Halloween.
Oof.
I think a little bit of Blake just died.
I
on
like
the
this
inside.
movie. I like this movie a lot. I don't think I like it as much as Hereditary.
Sure. To be honest, I think Hereditary had too much of it gets too much of a visceral reaction out of you. It's a great film.
Yeah.
and that's why I'm
Hereditary is
not
a
putting it any higher
beast
than
of
that.
a fucking
Yeah,
movie.
that movie.
Hereditary is a beast. Yeah.
I like this movie. I think you guys are a little higher than I am. That being said, though, I've only seen it one time, so you do have to take that.
That's true, but you are allowed to argue your point.
Very true. Very
and
true.
I want
right.
you to
Yeah.
do so.
So where
I've
would
only
probably
seen most
put
of the
it-
movies on this list.
I
one
would
time.
probably put it one. I would just put it above Requiem. So
Okay.
that'd be 13, right?
Yeah.
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 So above
or
Requiem.
14. Excuse me. I would put it at 14.
Okay.
It'd
14,
be above Requiem.
below Y Tu Mama Tambien,
Yeah.
and above Requiem for a Dream. Interesting. Ty, your last
Yeah.
one here.
I like YouTube Mama Tambien a little bit more.
I'm with you.
I probably would not have put this lower than 10.
Okay.
That being said, I was also very teeter-tottery at like the 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Um,
Just, I mean, how it tells its
The-
story too, how it unfolds everything, and,
Yeah,
and it hints to
for-
it, and you'll get it more on the rewatch. But
yeah, the hard part for me is like I think this is better than Halloween for me. I
yeah, I
don't
kind of agree.
know if it's better than Prisoners and Get Out for me.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. I see what you're saying.
So you get that personal kind
yeah.
of connection in there. Yeah.
That's why this is kind of it's kind of ripping my heart out a little bit.
It's a the Entropy List is wild, man.
Yeah.
Because you know, Whiplash is my favorite movie, but I'm still putting it above Whiplash.
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna be at like a 9, which I think is gonna be kind of the split.
A 9
Right
I
at
can-
Inception.
Yeah,
ahead of Inception.
and then
I feel like that
for the
that kinda feels like
arguing,
the middle ground here.
yeah, and then for the arguing point, we can see what has a better score, Inception or Your
Oh,
Name,
Man, I don't even know.
and then that'll decide whether or not which one gets 9.
Your
If
name
I was
has
a betting man, your name's just gotta be pretty high.
Your Name's 8.4.
What was Inception?
Yeah.
Inception was like the top rated one on
Right.
IMDb for a long time.
Actually, I
so
believe
it might be an
what's Inception?
8.8.
It's 8.8.
There you go.
Okay, well then I would be comfortable if you guys really wanted to put this at 10.
Right. So that's where that's where Nathaniel had it, right?
Yeah,
You
I
said
had
above
I had
Whiplash?
9 or 10. Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
is either one.
Above Whiplash, under Inception. Yeah, I think that's the middle ground, man.
I am gonna argue for 9, and we just ignore the tiebreaker simply on the replay value. I know this is something that I
Whoa,
I know, this is
you
something even
son
last
of a
week I was
bitch!
like,
Ad-
put too
Adam's
much into
pushing
it.
for this one.
But hey,
yeah.
let's be real here. Let's be real here. Inception. We talked about it when we reviewed it. Inception is not a movie that is necessary. Like after your first watch, it's not a movie you necessarily want to go back and just keep rewatching. and it's not something that after a while you
That
don't.
sound was all men in 2009 shouting at their girlfriend, saying, "No, babe, you have to watch it again. We have to figure out what it means again."
Yes, so the immediate replay value, but like watching it 10 years later, I don't. You don't get the same. You don't get the same thing out of it. Whereas I feel like if I watch Your Name in 10 years, I'm still gonna have the same great time that I did the first time.
I don't feel like we're allowed to bend the rules of the tiebreaker.
Yeah. That's tough. Or yeah, I mean, I'm open to debate it. Yeah, but I think that's kind of a tough selling point, just because I mean,
well, I'm not trying to break the rules of the
figure here is
tiebreaker. I'm just saying I'm just trying to persuade you guys to not even want the tiebreaker and just put it at 9. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I
But
see.
if we want to,
Got it.
if we're gonna leave it at a tiebreak, then yeah, we can just put this at 10 and Whiplash is out of the top 10 and I'll cry about it, but we'll call it a day.
Well, I mean, you're not going to either way. Whiplash. is out of
Actually,
the
yeah,
top
you know
10
what? No
before we
matter
argue
what, I
it,
guess
so it doesn't
Whiplash is
matter.
getting out of the top 10. But okay.
I think I think I'm putting it after Inception, man.
After Inception, all right, fair enough.
I
made
could
my
be
case.
argued
I
for
didn't
it
like
because
the-
as far as like the whole thing goes, it's probably gonna end like that's where it should be. Coming from a personal standpoint,
Yeah.
I think
It
this should
is
be
an
higher.
easier film to watch than Inception, though. I'll give you that, Adam, for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was
Yeah,
trying to get at.
no
Is
doubt.
this is something I like? I mean, I've watched this movie 7 times in 3 months, whereas
Exactly, yeah.
Inception I've
I
seen
agree.
2 or 3 times
Yeah.
in 11 years.
I have a ruling. It's going at number 10. We're good
Yeah.
to go.
All right.
And it is. You know
I
what?
think everyone will-
I'm fine with that.
I think
Yeah.
and again, as always, we always say, at some point we'll all do personal lists of this, and it'll
Yes.
be
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
an
release a
episode in
personal,
of itself.
top 10 or something
Yeah.
out of the list. Got to.
I'm very excited to see where these. Once we do that episode, these lists are going to look drastically different. Drastically different, I think.
We'll see. So what's
But-
next?
Slotted in at number 10 is Your Name, right below Inception and right above Whiplash. 2 of my favorite movies coupled in together at 10 and 11.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
There you go.
All right.
not bad.
Well, our movie for next week is scheduled to be District 9, but I did want to bring up to you guys. Do you guys want to watch Raya and the Last Dragon instead?
I don't think I'm familiar with that. What is
That's
that?
the
That's
new
Disney animated one.
animated one.
The one that
Yeah,
we talked
we
about
talked
during what
about
we're
last
watching.
week.
It's coming to Disney Plus.
we could actually theoretically go see it in the movie theaters if we all wanted to, if you had time at some point this week. But
Yeah.
that would just be a maybe an off pod conversation.
Okay. Do we need a post pod, Adam?
We might
I
need
meant
a-
to bring this up before.
We might
Yeah,
need a
we'll
post-pod.
we'll
Yeah.
post pod
We'll
Adam
figure it
if we
out.
need to.
Yeah.
If you don't hear anything from post pod Adam, it's District 9.
It is, yeah.
Fun fact:
All right.
they're doing District 10 soon.
Are they really?
Yeah,
Really,
they
really?
just started talking about it again. Yeah.
I like that.
I'm down.
Because District 9 is, I love District 9.
District 9 is
That's-
great.
I think this might be that
That's
guy's
like
like
10 plus years, too.
yeah. I think this might be that guy's like last chance because like Elysium was like good, but like not a ton
Yeah.
of people saw it. And Chappie, Tyler really likes the general kind of critical thing on it's pretty negative, but
Mhm.
I love Chappie. I cried my first viewing of Chappie.
yeah, it didn't make like any money either. And
I don't
then
think I've seen
he was on the Alien reboot project, which looked dope and like was awesome. But then Ridley Scott decided to take that back, and so then
Dick.
like yeah, he's got his own YouTube channel. It's called
Mm.
Oats Studio. It has a bunch of shorts films on it. They're really cool. Definitely like his style, kind of like
Yeah.
realistic, gory, hard sci-fi on
Yeah,
them
yeah,
too.
yeah, yeah.
You should check them out. Some of them are pretty
For sure,
horror-esque
yeah,
too.
yeah.
But then yeah, now he's doing District 10 again apparently.
Tight.
And you
Yeah,
guys have
cool.
all seen District 9, right? Besides Adam. Adam has not
I have
seen
not.
it.
I've seen
Okay.
it once a long time ago.
Really,
I
yeah.
own it, but I've seen it once
Okay.
a long time ago, and I've seen like certain parts of it a lot.
For
but
sure.
yeah,
For sure.
I've seen it.
District 9,
bunch of
if that's the
times.
one
Yeah,
we
I've
end up
seen it a
going
handful
with,
of times.
is streaming on Hulu currently.
Cool.
Yeah.
Win-win.
All right. 5-star review, Nathaniel. Hopefully, but
I
maybe
don't
not.
believe so. But let's.
It would
check
not shock me
real
if we did not
quick.
have one.
Wow.
Unfortunately,
It would shock
Yeah.
me. It shocks me every week that one of you guys doesn't leave a 5-star review.
Me too, man. It's really disappointing.
It literally blows my mind. You get a shout out. You literally get to say whatever you want to say. And we're going to
Whatever,
read it.
Whenever.
Just leave it.
We do not have a new 5-star review.
That's unfortunate.
Unreal, guys.
But what do they get if they leave a 5-star review?
Well, if they
Nathaniel?
leave a 5-star review, they can tell us whatever they want. And then I'll read about it on the podcast. I'll read it out on the podcast. Some past people have even become top 5 fans of the pod.
Yeah.
I mean, Papa
Yeah.
Schwartz started out as a 5-star review
Yeah.
at some point, I think,
Papa
right?
Schwartz did start out as a 5-star review.
There we
You're
go.
Correct.
So, I mean, if you want a piece of this, all you got to do is I
You want
really
a piece of the action.
I really wanted to make a rhyme there, and I started that with the best hopes in the world that I was going to be able to finish it, and it's just not happening. So I'm
Your
sorry.
flighting
Well,
skills
turns
need
out-
work.
It's true.
Freestyle rapping is not in Nathaniel's future,
Yep. I need more time to think about it. It's okay.
of course.
Anyways,
That's
let's wrap this bad boy up. It's
Sure.
it's
Yeah,
late.
please share the podcast. It would really help us out. We're trying to grow, and we cannot do so without the help of you, dear listener. So please
with
share
a
the
lover,
podcast with a friend.
significant other.
A lover, what was that?
Significant other.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Maybe someone you dream about.
Maybe
Maybe someone
yeah.
you're body swapping with. If you honestly are having
star-crossed
this,
lover.
please call.
Please let us know.
I want to know everything.
Please leave a 5-star review if you're having a body swap currently. We want to know about it.
If you're near a Shinto shrine, wow, that was tough. Maybe leave a note for someone else to listen to us. Leave half of yourself, maybe half of your phone or something like that.
Whoa.
With our episode queued up. Who knows? Just some thoughts.
Who knows? You can follow us on Twitter at Banter Row. Please do so. That's where you can find all the updates on the pod. Like tonight, if we were unable to record because you had some pretty scary technical
Man,
difficulties.
that was a weird time in my life.
I was pissed.
Yeah, that was a stressful 45 minutes. And we almost had to cancel. But if we had to cancel, we would first let you know at Twitter, which is going to be Banter Row. Please follow us there. On Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod. Our YouTube is just Back Row Banter. Please go subscribe to us there. It is free, even if it's not where you typically watch the podcast or listen. Sorry, I guess I should say listen to the podcast. We would really appreciate your subscription. And then if you want to contact us for any questions, comments, concerns, grievances, or anything of the sort, you can do so by emailing us at backrowbanterpod@gmail.com. BlakeHolder, where can the people find you at, my man?
Letterboxd. I'll be on there logging some stuff. BlakeHolder. Like I said, I'm definitely delaying on that, but I'm certainly trying to catch up and get some few things in there. But yeah, find me on there. Xbox, PSN, Instagram is all Mr. Watercooler. Adam, we do have to get on Siege one of these days, man.
Yes,
we're so close.
we'll
to
talk
on
about
there.
this. Yes, we will.
I think new season is actually next week, so maybe we
Okay.
should try to do something around then. But yeah,
Let's hope. Yeah.
that's my info. We'll pass it on to we'll go to Ty.
I love the idea, and I'm not Ty, but I love the idea in like a alternate future where this show does grow. We are growers, and then and then Blake somehow can become super famous, and everyone has his like Xbox friend request.
I mean, mine's not too hard to figure out either. It's just H24.
Hey, Tyler, it's your turn.
I say mine every week, so
Yeah, I guess same.
I
to be
started
honest.
So I
this.
started throwing mine out. Yes, if you play Siege or Mortal Kombat, please let me know.
I'm actually really glad that we didn't have to cancel and reschedule because Ryan would have been fucking pissed. And I'm really glad I don't have to hear that or read that text rather.
If we
tomorrow
were
morning.
if we had to delay
Yeah.
the episode at all.
Yeah. But yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/El Trabajo, ELTRABAJO 87. Nathaniel are on there, and Nathaniel and I are on there together now. So,
2 guys, 1 stream.
yeah. Go watch that. And then Instagram, Letterboxd, and Twitter, all Tyler Vidalis, VIDALES. Adam?
I saw Nathaniel lean in like he thought he was going to him, and he psyched him out.
I just wanted to make sure I was still here.
Oh, okay. Well, you can find me on Twitter at H24, on Letterboxd at H, and then on Twitch when I do eventually start streaming again. It's going to be twitch.tv/H. Nathaniel, get us out of here, man.
You can find me on Instagram and Twitter and Letterboxd at NSGingrich or at NathanielG92. Find it out. I give you some work to do. You can also see me on Tyler's stream now. Do that, El Trabajo. It's kind of fun. I'm having a good time. Maybe I'll stream one day. Who knows? What else do I have? Sandpiper tapes. Follow them. We are working on new stuff for that. I have been thinking about new things for that, so we got some new ideas going on here. So,
Ooh.
but yeah, that's it for me. Adam, get us on out of here.
That's going to be it. Episode 41. Your name. One for the history books, guys. I'm so happy that we did this movie. I absolutely love it, as you guys found out, I guess, during this episode. Join us next week for whatever post-pod Adam probably told you to watch. It's most likely District 9, but maybe Raya. Who knows? We'll see. Join us next week. Thank you guys for listening. Love one another, and we'll be RB.
Hey, you guys be excellent to each other, and we'll be RB.
Thanks for stopping by. Share the pod. We love to grow, like Nathaniel said earlier. And yeah, this movie is just literally all about love. How you find it, sometimes how you don't find it, sometimes how you forget it. So just spread love, and yeah, man, we'll be RB.
Yeah, same boat here. Yeah, spread love, spread positivity. Check in on your loved ones, man. Life's too short. We've seen what happened to Tiger Woods recently. I mean, luckily he is okay, but you just never know, man. It's almost like you see those headlines all the time now. It's kind of sad. So it's
true.
Yeah, check in with people. Make sure you're on good terms, and we'll be RB.
I'm America. Ready for another lesson.
Submitted my essay today, Nathaniel.
Oh yeah, what'd you decide to do it on?
Eternal Sunshine.
Oh, that's
That was
right.
mine. Talked about how the theme of the movie or the message is trying to get across is how our past experiences are important regardless of how painful they are.
Fair enough. Pretty accurate reading.
Yep. We'll see, though. I don't know.
What kind of professor is he? Is he like
He's
saying,
he's
hey,
super chill. Yeah, like sometimes on Zoom, like he'll show us a clip and he'll share his screen, and then while the clip is playing, he'll like step to the side of his camera, and you just see smoke coming across the screen. So, and I've seen him hit his vape. I don't know if the smoke I saw that one time was all vape because it was a pretty thick cloud. So he might have been chiefing at 11 a.m. in the 11 a.m. But I know he vapes for sure. He showed his vape on camera one time.
I respect the move.
Yeah, and he wears a fucking like a what's the kind of hat I'm looking for?
Fedora.
No, it's not a fedora, but it's like a
really
new
like those hats.
hat.
I just wanted to say that.
Bro, fedoras have been unjustly done by. You know this, right? Like the true fedora is not what the internet thinks a fedora is.
What is a fedora then?
It's like what Indiana Jones wears. It's like a longer hat.
Ah.
That's what everyone thinks of as a fedora on the internet is actually called a trilby, which suits it way more.
Yeah, let me look that up. Trilby. How do you spell that?
Trilby.
Trilby hat.
Yeah, he wears like I don't even know what these are really called, but it's kind of like a
Right.
newsboy.
Definitely right.
Oh, like what? Like the newsboy, you know, almost like the that hat. Yeah, I used to wear one of those when I golfed.
Yeah.
One of these. The
No, like the poor boy, like where it's like it like is like this, and then it like kind of comes down. And it's got like the short bill on it.
Okay,
almost.
It's got a little button on the top.
Yeah, I won it in a like a grab bag when I was like 5, and then I
That's
just
so
kept
funny.
it and then played it with golf.
Okay,
Played
so
golf
the
with
I would
it.
never
fedoras are
never
like-
throw it out.
Really circular.
Yeah, they're like
Almost
they're
the
like
trilby is
Indiana
more like
Jones.
an oval.
Yeah,
almost,
the trilby's
okay.
like got the shorter brim and it like
Yeah,
goes
yeah,
like all
yeah.
the way around.